All right. It's almost 3:30. Are we all back? If you are back on the call, drop in the word back on the chat box. On the Zoom chat box, drop in back. Someone says cannot use API key. We will help you out with that. There is a breakout room that we will be conducting towards the end of today after this session. And there we will help you out with the API key and all of the errors that you might have faced. Good to see that everyone is back. Before we actually get started, and before I set the context for the session that we are going to be having, can we all go back to our Slack channel also and call back our friends from the lunch break? I would like to see everyone coming back from the lunch break because this is the last session of the Generative AI Mastermind and one of the most important sessions, right? So we kind of designed this mastermind by making sure that we were following a sequence in terms of the sessions that we are conducting, right? So everything that you have learned yesterday and everything that you have learned today from Web of Session, all of that is going to be used in this particular session where you are going to be learning how automations really work and how you can also create your own automations. And you're also going to be exploring some use cases where you can go ahead and deploy these automations. And this is extremely relevant for all of the founders, for all of the working professionals, for all of the consultants. In fact, as consultants ourselves, I charge about $4,000, $5,000 to be able to do this, provide solutions like these to companies that reach out to me. That is what you are going to be learning. And the person that is going to be teaching you, Manish, also runs his own company where they provide these solutions to other businesses. So that is what this session is all about. But before I hand it over to Manish, I would love for all of you to go to your Slack community, call your friends back, and I'll also set some context in terms of how you need to be, taking this session as we move forward into it. Okay, I am opening up the Slack channel on my screen. Do I see messages from people? Awesome. Om, are we good to get started? Did we also put out the announcement on WhatsApp and all of that?
Yes, we just did post the announcement on all the places, just making sure everything is in place. Yes, looks like we are all good. Yes, let's do this.
Perfect. Can you please share the course details again? Okay. All right. So one request that I have from everybody before we enter this session is that for the next 3 hours or 2.5 to 3 hours, please do not think about anything else but for what is being taught in this session, right? We already told you that it is going to be slightly intense. And what we truly mean by intense is that when we open the tool make.com, and that is something that most of you have never used or seen, that is when you could probably slightly get confused. But what we really want all of you to be able to take from this session is the possibility of what can truly happen with AI. It, of course, needs a ton of practice for you to be able to build agents, for you to be able to create automations yourself. But practice comes after you actually get exposed to the true potential of what is possible. And that is when you will also be able to come up with use cases yourself where you could implement this technology. So for the next 2.5 hours, please do not ask any questions about Slack links. Please do not ask any questions about resources, workbooks, and all of that. We will cover everything towards the end. All of your focus has to be on this session for you to be able to understand it. And even if you have 100% focus, you might not be able to get 100% of everything that is going to be covered, but do not feel overwhelmed. What we truly are trying to do is to expose you to what is really possible, and it all comes with additional practice that we will be talking about towards the end of the session as well. So you need to be having your notebook for this session, and you need to take down as many notes as possible in terms of the steps that need to be followed for you to be able to create automations. Do I have your commitment that for the next 2.5 hours, you will forget about everything and you will only focus on what is being taught by Manish? Drop in 100% on the chat box if I have your commitment. And on that note, I will also hand it over to Manish. No other questions on the chat box. Would only want to see questions related to what Manish is teaching for the next 2.5 hours. Awesome. And you just had your lunch break. You please do grab coffee or something like that if you feel that you're kind of zoning out because of feeling sleepy. We will be giving a break as well to make it comfortable for you after some time. I see a lot of messages coming in. Awesome. Manish, over to you.
Okay. Hello, guys. Manish here. So, first of all, namaste and wish you a very, very happy new year of 2025. And honestly, I'm so much overwhelmed looking at like more than 1,000 people are enrolled or joined the session, about 1,100 till now. Amazing. That's really good. And that shows your commitment to like uplift your life, uplift your skill, career, and profession. So hats off to you. Being said that, I would like to make two announcements or like funny already like stolen some of my words, but I'll just repeat it again. So today I'm going to announce one scheme for you. That's an opportunity scheme offer, whatever we say. And that can, if you invest with me today, something, right, it's going to give you at least 100x return within 2025. So if I get at least 100 commitments or maybe say yes, I'm going to reveal that. Else, we can just move to the session. How about that? Super. Great, guys. So the scheme is you should invest next 3 hours of undivided attention with me. And I commit you, it's going to give you at least 300 hours of saving, productivity boost, and efficiency increase within 2025. And that's being done by myself. I'm teaching you. I learned all these things down the year, couple of in past years, as well as many of my clients are also doing it day in, day out. So just be here for 3 hours, undivided attention. Maybe you would have had heavy lunch or something. That's fine. I'll try to make it as simple, as easy as possible to understand for you guys. It's a technical, but not that technical. We are going to ultimately solve everything with no code, low code. So you will get a good grabbing or good holding on this entire structure, entire thing, what I'm going to demonstrate you. So that is number one. Second is I'll share my screen. So before the previous session ended, funny and like he mentioned that it's make.com is the tool we are going to talk about. So I think you would have already created, some of you would have already created an account, but if you had not, then I have another thing to show you. Let me quickly pick up that. So being a Make partner, Make gives us a magic link, right? And that can give you a 10,000 operation free of cost when you sign up. So if you did not sign up already, you can use this link, not now, later on. Like we're not going to do any practical activity on Make at this point. So just keep it, maybe take a screenshot or something. So you should not lose out this credit part. And yeah, just keep it somewhere. Don't do anything on your system at this point. Yeah. Now, I'll quickly set up the context of this entire session, what we are going to learn, how we will like do many things and all. So first of all, it's all about automation. Whatever you learned in the previous session with Webhub, with other mentors, we are going to see how practically we can implement that thing within our business, within our profession, or whatever job you do, whatever work you do. There are processes, there are tasks, and they are repetitive enough, right? So we are going to look at these tools, this entire methodology, this entire process, how we are going to implement those things in an automation way within our own work in day-to-day life, right? So let me show you first of all how the automation look like, what I'm going to talk about, right? So I'll show you two examples and that will give you a real good understanding of what we are going to learn about. So first of all, I built an automation because I'm getting hundreds of email every day, and you can see there are so many unread emails lying inside my mailbox, right? I can't obviously read everything because many of the mails are either irrelevant, not important, not required my attention, or even not required the reply at all. Even many emails comes into update, social, or promotion kind of folders, right? So what if we can connect an automation which read all these emails frequently, and it can automatically prepare a reply, save it in the draft. So my whole job is the GPT or any AI can assess the email content. It defines whether it is required to reply or not. If not, it can simply move to this folder, something called reply not required, right? And if reply required, it can simply create a reply on the same thread as a I would say in a draft, and then I just have to review that reply, maybe do some modifications or edits, and it can simply on a click of button send, it can simply be sent. So I'll show you what I have done to solve this particular problem. So this is something called make.com. I built this small scenario. You may see it's kind of a canvas, couple of bubbles or things are put in here. I'll show you everything. I'll explain you, and we will even do it together in the second half of the session. But just for now, how powerful is this entire thing is. So I built a module, a scenario, which is called like watch emails. Whatever emails comes into my Gmail box, they should watch at a frequency of every 15 minutes. Put that reply or put that email into GPT and ask whether this reply or this particular email is actually required my attention. Is it worth replying or not? So GPT is going to check that part. If yes, it's going to generate a reply, and then it is going to create a draft reply into the draft folder on the same thread. So my job is just to click and send it. Let me show you one of the examples. Over here, we have couple of emails came today. Like one is the IVX Sports. They wanted to have account statement. A couple of other people are asking about automation service. Someone is asking about automation masterclass, need more information and all. So let's do one physical run, or I would say a manual run for now. So I just selected one email, whatever I wanted to choose from. And it is going to show me the whole list of all the emails came in. So let's say I'll select IVX Export, the first email, and simply run this automation scenario once. Don't bother about how this is working, what these modules are, how they're connected. Not to bother about, just wanted to show you the power of automation and what it can do for you. So over here, it sent email to GPT. GPT find it. Yes, it is worth replying, reply required. And even there is a reason. So the email requested an account statement, which is a financial document. And that's why a response is essential to do that. And even GPT generated a response over here, the whole thing within a proper HTML structure. So it can go with all bullets, highlights, everything, even with my signature. And the email draft would have saved over here. Let me just check out this. Okay, perfect. See here. So this reply draft came just now with 0 minutes ago, and it says, "Hi, I've export. Thank you for reaching out. We appreciate your prompt communication regarding your state and so on." So this entire thing is created. Now I just wanted to maybe change something over here and hit send. That's it. It's gone. So that much easy it make my job. Even let's say, just go for another example where some email would not require my attention. Let me show you that as well. So that should be parked inside something called no, reply not required, right? That kind of classification GPT can do. So for example, let's say I'll go for something called Udemy, right? So Udemy is saying something. They would have sent me an email for some course or something, some announcement. Let GPT assess that, what it says. Perfect. So here you see the GPT classified this email as reply not required. The email is marketing promotion from Udemy. Advertising discount on courses, does not solicit any response required or any direct interaction required. And simply that particular email is parked over here. Udemy save it on discounts. Even I did not open that email, so I don't even have to touch my mailbox. It's all happening through automation. And obviously we don't have to do like click all, select emails and all. It's run itself every 15 minutes, and that's all. Second automation that obviously changed my entire content marketing strategy, which I built over here, is called the social media content generation as well as posting automation. So we all do, like, even if you are a professional or we are a business person, we have our own startups and all. We wanted to generate good quality of content if we want to post as well. In last session, you remember, right? Weber mentioned that he generated so much content with ChatGPT, with Cloud.A, did so many image generation, some sort of training with AI chatbots and all. So when that content is generated, how about posting it on multiple platforms? And that was a video content, obviously. But what about, let's say, if you're going with any image content or maybe just a textual post, right? So that is even easier. And this whole automation handles that thing very well within here. So let's say I have built a small Google Sheet over here. And this Google Sheet has a couple of things. Like this is my main content master or content database. What it does essentially is I just have to put my all content ideas, whatever post I want to generate, whatever content I want to create. I just have to put in things over here. And then with the selection of some status or some sort of drop down over here, I'll say like generate content for the post. So based upon this particular input, is going to generate content for different platforms like Facebook content, LinkedIn, Instagram. I just classified 3 things over here because obviously I don't want to put same content on all 3 platforms. These platforms have essentially like different content formats as well as their own limitation in terms of number of characters, words, length, and so on. Plus, if I wanted to generate an image as well, some sort of creative along with the content, I can simply say generate image as well. And then finally, I can post the content. That content directly go on all of these social media platforms along with image, either which is generated by like AI, or I would have done and put it on somewhere with Canva or something, right? So I can just provide the image URL and it can straightforward take it up on my social media things. Plus, it can also give me the posting date and time when it's going to happen. So let me show you one good example over here. Like this scenario is supposed to run every day 10 a.m. So whatever content I put here and I say post it is going to post that, or whatever content I put in here for generate content stuff is going to generate that as well. So let's see a quick demonstration of this whole thing as well. So over here, I said like generate content for the post. And this is a post which I wanted to create about launch of a new milk product from Amul in New York. Creative should be creative should have flavor of New York lifestyle and core focus on the milk product with Amul branding, right? This is kind of a generic thing. What all I have to do is simply click on post instantly or generate instantly, right? Okay, let it be. I'll just run it manually from here. So once I run the scenario, the particular stuff which says I want to generate some content for this post is getting it here for ChatGPT. It's also going to generate an image for now with ChatGPT DALL-E, and it will put both the things back into the Google Sheet, which says like just review your content, review the image. If you like it, then hit or click post and it will be posted. So let's see how this goes. Currently it's generating that image. GPT generally takes time, like in case of some more constructive data or more sensible things, it takes a little while, maybe a couple of seconds, up to a minute. Perfect, it's done. Great. So you see here, now the label change called content generated. And over here we have this Facebook content says, exciting news, New Yorkers, Amul is bringing creamy twist in your favorite city and so on. So this entire post content generated along with the hashtags, along with some sort of emojis, which are relevant to this whole thing, right? And maybe like your first sip and so on. Same way LinkedIn content is also generated, and same way Instagram content is also generated. Obviously, there are some prompt behind it, which are working with ChatGPT to put this entire idea with prompt, and then they generate the content. But yeah, this is the whole concept. And let's take a look at the image as well, what GPT generated for this particular one. Let's see. Wow. Okay, this looks good. So it says Amul NYL and this kind of a proper structure with New York theme. So it has the Statue of Liberty, some sort of helicopters and so on. So really cool, good image to accept. And what if I wanted to post it right from here itself? So once I reviewed this content, maybe I want to make some small changes. I'll say, let's remove the taste of New York, this particular thing. And I'll say, instead of exciting news, I'll say, hello, New York, right? I make these two small changes. And when I say post this content, it should ideally go to all of my pages. So what we have plugged in over here, one is called the Facebook, second is Instagram, and third is the LinkedIn, right? I have opened all of these three over here with me. So this is our Instagram page, Facebook page, and my own LinkedIn profile over here. So let's see. Now I change the status to post the content and let's run it. Perfect. It moved here. It's creating the Facebook post now. Let's wait for a second and this should be done. Amazing. So Facebook post is already created. Now it's going to Instagram. That's also done. And finally, LinkedIn. Everything is done. And now it returned back, said that posting done. Let's check whether it actually happened or not. Refresh. Perfect. See here, this post came exactly what we have for Instagram stuff. So the big apple just got a little creamier and so on. So this was the content here for the Instagram stuff. The big apple got a little creamier and so on. Same way, let's go for Facebook. Let's refresh. Perfect. See, it changed as well. Hello, New York. And Amul is bringing something. I removed that last hashtag as well. The post is here. And let's check out for the LinkedIn as well. On my profile, post an activity. This was done 1 minute ago. Okay, how the image got changed. Let's refresh. Perfect. See here, now it's done, and we are thrilled to announce that launch of a new product in your bustling city and so on. So see how cool these two automations are. And we can build any number of automation, any number of processes can be automated based upon these kind of workflow or scenarios that we create inside make.com. Now, we'll not jump directly on make because see, this is quite unfamiliar stuff for you. Why so many things are connected, how they are connected, what is the fundamental, why the content generation was moving here instead the post content moved here, and so on. There are many questions. What this entire panel look like? What all these options? So first of all, let's go about some theory, some fundamentals we should learn, and then we'll move to the practical aspect of make, where we are going to rebuild both of these content scenarios, both of these stuff together. I'll show you step by step each of these things, how these are built. Yeah. So don't feel sleepy. Please, I made you so much excited already. So please focus on this whole lot of theory stuff, whole lot of fundamental stuff. If you are clear with that, this is just one very small process. We can automate almost anything, right? And you will see the power. I'll even show you a long list of clients, what I have. Like all those are coming from different countries, different businesses, different processes. And we have done more than like 5,000 automation for them. So almost anything is possible with automation, but provided you should understand the fundamental first, why things are happening, how they happen, and then finally we are going to touch this particular tool, right? So until then, please keep your eyes open and just would like to get a confirmation. Are we good to move ahead? Excited? Okay, perfect. Great. Guys, give me just 1 second. I'm not sure why my laptop is not getting charged. Okay, perfect. I got some good connectivity now. Perfect. So let's move to the extreme top part of it. I'm not honestly that professional in terms of presentations and so on. People like Vaibhav are so good. So, okay, let me just try to put my thoughts over here. So first of all, like welcome to this amazing class of automation using AI. So this is powered by Growth School. And we are going to jump into the entire thing step by step, what all these things are called, why we are doing automation and so on. Guys, give me 1 sec. I don't get... Oh, sure. Do I have to do like this? No, not at all. Let me get it. Yep, that's fine. So perfect. A small disclaimer, which you see always in every workshop, every class, that you should put your phone on silent. All distractions should be turned off. And as you committed me, you wanted to get that offer, that scheme, that opportunity. Invest these 3 hours and you are going to get so much savings, productivity, and scalability within your business, your profession. So please be honest with yourself. That's very important. Now, what we're going to cover in this session. So first of all, we will see what is automation, because like you saw some demonstrations over here, the email replies as well as the social media posting, how the content is generated. But even the automation is way more beyond than that. So these are just 2 examples where we did content type of things with automation. It can be go even beyond that. It can help you to automate any process. So why we're going to do automation? Obviously, there are a couple of good things which we can achieve while we do automation. So that's important. Then we are going to see how the coding automation works. So obviously all these things connecting GPT, Gmail, and so on, there are so many softwares available which are built on code, right? So if you're a developer, you can simply code things and you can easily achieve all of your automation need. But obviously we are not all of us are the coders, right? So then we are going to explore the no code automation as well, right? So what a developer can do, how we can achieve with the tools like Make, Zapier and all using no code and low code. Then I'm going to show you difference between coding and no code. So the automation which I built, how I built in a very quick, easy sequence. If I'm going to build that same thing on coding, how much time, effort, and as well as the entire length of code it takes. Then we are going to explore about popular automation tools. Obviously, Make is not one of them. There are like more than 1,000 tools. If you search no code, low code tools on Google, you'll see more than 1,000 tools over there. Then we're going to get introduction about make.com, complete feature walkthrough, and obviously we'll build a couple of workflows using make.com, the 2 which I showed you already. And then obviously if you have some demand or maybe some more exploration required, I can get you with a more exposure on Make. Now, first of all, like what is automation and why we need it? So we all are into some sort of a business, profession, or career where we do like certain or we are part of certain process, right? So let's say, for example, if you are working into marketing domain, then there is a whole set of ideation, whole set of task process you have to do while you perform your day-to-day marketing task. So first of all, like in your, if you're in marketing, you have to generate some ideas, like how to sell product, how to maybe do good marketing. So ideation is required. Then on top of that, you create some content for awareness, for publishing, right? Then you go ahead and publish that content on various platforms, like I shown you already: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, maybe email marketing, blogs, or something else. Then from that content, you generate certain leads. Then finally, it comes to reporting and the analysis, like how many leads are generated, what kind of amount we have put in. There are terms called ROI, ROAS, and so on, right? So that you have to figure out and you have to figure out. So the whole thing goes in a circle. Then once you see the report analysis, again you go back and modify your ideation, or maybe do some more good ideation, change something, and do the entire funnel again and again. If you're into finance management, same thing goes with you in terms of invoice creation, because you have to like make sales, and then the sales get money with the invoices. Then you do accounting, you do payments, stock updates, vendor bill payment, and so on. So the entire cycle goes on. For sales, operation, business, obviously there are same tasks, same kind of processes, which we all repeat day in, day out. Now, what happens actually? So these are part of our regular day job, what we do within our business or profession. When we start all of these things, we are really good. Like when you get into a new job, into new business, you really feel excited. Like, I'm going to do many things. I'm going to set up the process, do the task, and so on. You're full with the energy, full with the motivation. But when you start considering that to scale, right? You wanted to, let's say if you're making 100 orders a day, if you wanted to make 1,000 orders, then the problem starts, right? So when the volume of work, the scale increase, you find that your current time and your current energy efforts are not sufficient to do all that scaled task or the increased volume. So obviously your backlog start getting like, you are overwhelming with your task, you keep on taking so many pile up backlogs, and after a few days you get into this kind of a state where it seems like it's impossible to get to the next level with the same kind of effort. And we are humans, we have to maintain the work life balance, or maybe we have to maintain our energy state and all, like physical things and so on, right? So we can't put more than like 12, 15, 16 hours. How much beyond you can go? So what happens and why that happens actually? First of all, the task generally becomes repetitive. Once it gets in a shape of the process, it gets repetitive, because if you're doing that accounting part, you always create invoice, get the payment, update the stock, do the accounting, and the same cycle repeats all in day out. So that is, first of all, the loss of motivation or encouragement. Why we are keep on doing the same thing? We are humans, right? We are smart. We have brain. Why can't we build something more constructive instead of repeating the same thing again and again? Second is, after a certain time, and see, this is not a knowledge, honestly, right? It's all the realization what we all either get or we should get very soon. Otherwise, we'll be left out from the progressive path. So the second part is, generally your processes becomes either no-brainer or low-brainer after certain repetition. So let's say if you are doing, let's say the content posting on social media, right? That's almost a no-brainer. Like you can set up a format, you can set up certain rules, what kind of hashtag you wanted to put, what kind of images you want to put, what kind of size, and so on. Once your process is set, once your rules are set, then it is almost a no-brainer, right? You can assign it to someone else and that person can do, or this can be done by systems itself. So that's again another point, like why we are doing the same thing again and again. Third thing is a low value addition. As I said, no-brainer, low-brainer. So that brings in like why and what kind of value you add additional to what is already being happening. And finally, it consumes the same time and effort which you keep on putting at the day 1 and at the day 10th or day 100th, right? So what is the solution? What if we can all have a robot, some sort of, like you would have heard or you would have seen Boston Dynamics robots, or maybe some sort of Elon Musk robot. So they robots, those are doing like human replacement, human work replica, but mostly they are either very expensive, or secondly, we can't afford them, right? They are just replacement of your normal stuff which you do mechanically, but intellectual tasks are still to be like less done by the robots at this point. So what is the solution? We can help, we can do automation using the tool like Make, Zapier, and so on. So these tools can help us to automate tasks in a very well manner, and that can help you to reduce your mental burden, reduce your overall like extra time effort consumption. Yeah. So what automation can do for you, like as I said, whatever activities or whatever feelings we get from the repetitive task, first of all we can avoid that. So automation can obviously help us increase the productivity, increase the efficiency within our own work. Second, it can save us a lot time and effort, right? That's the most important asset any founder, any entrepreneur, or any rising professional would have. Third thing is very important, and I would just take a minute to explain that. That is about scaling your business with less resources. And that was discussed in earlier session as well. So if you're a founder, and imagine, like I gave you one example just earlier, if you're getting 10 orders today and you deploy one person to process those orders, like one guy is sitting, he can do all these 10 order processing every day, that's fine. If you start getting 50 orders, and on each 10 order, if you want one person, you will have 5 people who are processing them. If you get 100 orders a day or 100 such tasks a day, you deploy 10 people. But what if you start getting 500 or 1,000 or 5,000 orders a day, or those such tasks will require human intervention, again and again, the same repetitive clerical things, then imagine how many resources you'll have to deploy and how much like unscalable that can be. So humans are working just for 8 hours, you may put 3 shifts and so much capital, so much intense supervision and so on. So your business generally becomes unscalable. And that's the most common problem with any professional or any business person today. Like they are not able to scale just because they don't have the right resources. And that thing can be easily overcome by the automation. So that's super important to keep in mind. Now, obviously, automation can help you to increase availability 24/7, 365 days, because these are machines, so you don't have to worry about them. You can set any time. Let's say I set up the post time as 10 a.m. every morning, right? And automation is doing itself. But what if I set it up 2 a.m. at the night, after midnight, right? So the same thing automation can do, but not a human. Right? So that is about the availability. Even it's in terms of attending the conversation, customer complaints, or any sort of email communication. All of these things can be really well handled with the automation stuff. And finally, automations are obviously robust. There are less chances of human interaction and human errors as well. So yeah, these are a couple of things why we should focus on automation. So how does it feel after completing all your tasks in time? And are you in sync still? Just put some comment or maybe show some interaction over here. That will be really helpful for me. Great, guys. Super. So let's jump into the next part of the entire fundamental session, which is what is automation. Now, so far, we already understood like what is automation. So automation is like we wanted to put technology to reduce the minimal, like to reduce the human effort, or let's say minimize the human interaction in the entire process. But what does it mean actually? Because you see, if you just talk about automation, and if you search about automation, you see variety of things in terms of automation. Let's say, first of all, you would have seen or you would have heard the news, Amazon, which is like Amazon Prime or Amazon, which sell product, right? They deployed many robots in their warehouse. And those robots are fulfilling your orders. So they pack everything, they take it from shelf, pack it, and even deliver, or let's say, like push it to the delivery queue. So that is one type of automation. Even when you see some car plant or maybe manufacturing plant, those are kind of like most satisfying videos. If you search on YouTube, you will see so many assembly lines or so many packaging products, or those kind of machines are also enabled today, which are doing automated tasks in the factories, in the manufacturing production workhouse, right? Workshops. So that is also an automation. And even the automation which we are going to do is also an automation. So there are like 3 types of automation we have over here. One is called the robotic process automation, which is RPA, which is mainly used into assembly lines, or obviously in sort of, let's say, manufacturing plant or packaging plants. So that has very limited use case. And most of us, I would imagine, in this particular workshop are not related, or we don't have any business related to assembly of vehicles or manufacturing plants or even packaging plants as such, right? So this is one type of automation, but not relevant for us at this point. Second type of automation, which we generally see, is called the computer-based physical task automation. So You see there are so many BPOs or call centers or even data entry centers run today, right? And they are just doing some sort of manual data entry form or digitization of data from some physical document to digital document, data scraping, some sort of online form filing. All those things are also considered as manual effort, and they can be automated with some sort of scripting called like Selenium script, or maybe some sort of systems which can do automated scanning of a document, convert that into a text and put that into form or somewhere else. So those automations are also exist in market, but again, very limited use case. Most of us even won't use them in day-to-day life. The third type of automation which we are going to talk today has a very wide usage, which is called software task automation. Now, I'll just show you a three-world theory or kind of a concept, and then you will understand that in more better way. But in today's world, most of our businesses, even right from like sending an email up to you process an order or maybe an accounting system or something else, everything is happening on computers. And those computers like obviously have softwares. So those softwares get us all these tasks done. And today we are going to talk about how we can automate most of our software-based tasks, which are quite repetitive, and 100% of us are using computers, using softwares, cloud-based system. So these kind of tasks, if we can automate, we can save a lot good time, energy, and effort, which is quite like burning out us in day and out. So there is a three-world realization, I would say again. First of all, you would have heard about third world countries, right? In economics or maybe in some sort of general knowledge. So third world countries are called like someone which is so much backward, right? And then second world and the first world countries. Same way, if you talk about our own working style, how we handle things, how we do processes, how we do tasks in our business, that is also divided into three worlds. The third world, which existed about like 10 years back, which was actually a manual world. Now, what does it mean? So we used to do everything, each of our process, each of our task, everything in our business, profession, career, using hands. So even if you have to write a letter, you actually physically write a letter, right? If you do a sales invoice, you do actually a sales invoice on your Khata Bahi book or maybe some sort of notepad, right? If you, let's say, do a call, you have to bring the, like pick up the phone and dial some numbers and do it. So all of these things were happening manually, and still a couple of businesses in some backward areas or maybe who are not upgraded technology are still working things manually. So everything is on pen paper. Then we move to the second world, which is called the software level world. Now, what's happening here? So we migrated all our manual activities from hand and pen paper to softwares. Now, you do accounting on software, you do marketing on social media channels, you do take calls on Zoom or these kind of Google Meet, you do take care of your leads, all sales record into CRM, and so on. Almost everything is running on softwares. Now, just one question or kind of one quiz over here while we move to the next one. What, like, you would have seen some quiz on newspaper or somewhere, right? Find the similarities on two images. So can you help me find the similarities between these two images, the manual world and the second world, the third and second? Just a couple of answers. What is similar in them? There is human, hands, perfect. Man, human is there. Great, 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 great. Amazing, guys. Job, papers, data entry. Perfect. So mostly, most of the people recognize is right. It's actually the human or the hands from them they are working on. So in both of these things, human is quite common. And still, even if we have migrated to softwares from pen paper, we still have to do everything with our hands. So if you don't open your Gmail, you can't read emails, right? If you don't type in something, you can't send it, right? So you have to handle the device. Even if you operate CRM, your phone, call, everything is still done by humans. Only those mediums got changed, that method got changed, right? So now it is high time to move on the first world, which is the automated world, right? Now, what's happening in the automated world? So here, AI and the automation tools are going to take care of all our software tasks as well. So as I shown you, if you just put in an idea on a Google sheet or maybe some sort of database, some sort of content repository, put one idea, AI will take care to generate the content, AI will take care to generate the image, as well as AI and automation combinedly will even take care to post that content on all the social media wherever you want it, right? Not social media specifically. It can be email, newsletter, what so on. So now the era is coming in where softwares are going to control the other softwares, right? So in this entire session, we are going to talk about the transition from second world to the first world. And that's our core agenda. That's what I said, like software based tasks are going to be automated. So here you don't see a human. So now find the difference between second world and first world. Obviously, no humans as such. Software still exists, but in a different form altogether. So there can be a big question, like how a software can control software, even like humans, right? It's because we wanted to get things done in our own process, in our own way, right? So how that is possible, and that's what we are going to discuss today. That is essentially I'm going to walk you through in the next slide. So let's see one of the example over here. Let's say just one very basic example of Gmail, what we use every day in out and so on. So first of all, when we as a human interact with any software, that is primarily done with UI. You would have heard this word so many times, UI, UX, right? User experience, user interface. So that is called a UI of a system. Even when I'm on this entire screen, it's a PDF document or it's a presenter where I see all these things, right? So same way, when I go to Gmail, I see multiple actions over here where I can, like, that's how I can interact with this particular system. So let's say if I wanted to write an email, I simply click on compose email. It's going to open a small window with me, and then I can simply write like to whom I want to send, the subject line, as well as the email content. If I want to take some sort of actions like delete some email, keep mark it read, unread, archive it, classify, put some labels, all of these things are given over here. Even if I wanted to do reply or some sort of emoji or see some more information, all of those actions are already given on the UI itself. And that is how the UI, like it's human interface, right? User interface. So that's how UI is built when humans are interacting with a system and they wanted to operate it. But what if a system is going to control a system? So we don't need essentially like a computer should open this particular page, then click on compose or maybe click on reply, put everything content. It doesn't have hands, right? So what is the solution? How systems can control system? Then there is something called a connector in middle is called API. It's called Application Programming Interface. Now it is no longer a UI. It's not a user interface. It is an application programming interface where one application is going to talk to other application, and it does not require any interface as such, right? So it's the interface itself called API. Now let's understand the API in a little bit context, right? So how the API works, or even how your entire current system works, right? So when you sit on a browser, you see a user interface. That user interface has multiple options, as I shown in the last slide itself. So you have compose, you have, let's say, reply, and so many other actions on this particular screen. It can be same on any other system as well. You can just imagine your CRM, you can just imagine the Zoom call or your computer system. And so what happens when you interact with a user interface, with a particular software interface, actually at the back of it, there is a system called API, a layer of API, which talk to a backend server. So just compare it. Let's say if you are sitting in a restaurant and you want to make an order. So you just ask the waiter, come here, take my order. And then waiter give that order to a chef in the kitchen. And that chef is going to prepare that order, hand it over to waiter. And that waiter is going to come back to you and say, here is your order, here is the information, here is the data or command you wanted to execute or the order which you wanted to have, right? So the same thing happens in terms of API as well. So API is a middle layer where UI is going to give all the instruction to API, and then API talks to this backend server. And the speed is so fast that you even don't realize like something is happening at the back. But yeah, this is how this whole thing works. So it's mediator, or it can be called like a waiter or a middle layer and so on. Now, how the APIs look like. So you would have seen in last session, right? Vaibhav shared you or shown you one API key he's generated from the ChatGPT. That API key is put in somewhere, and then things started happening. The ChatGPT is connected to Agento Hub. So the same thing happens actually when we start interacting with API. So there was no interface. We just put in an API key, and both systems started talking to each other. So first of all, I would like to show you how the APIs look like. Right. So you just saw the API key, but not the API actually. What is that API exactly, right? So generally, most of the software companies which are like at a good level, which wanted to give their users some power to integrate systems or automate or maybe do some sort of process strengthening, they allow you to see their API documentation, see their actual backend, which is happening over here in the middle layer, right? So this is how the API look like. This is what I shown you, or I'm just showing you over here. It's called Zoho CRM API. You would have all heard about CRM, like it has leads, deals, and so on, other records. So API documentation look like this. And for each of the action which you take on a UI is also available, or even more than that, other actions are also available on API as well. So let's say if you wanted to get a record and API is defined a certain endpoint, let's say how you do Gmail compose, right? So there is a whole string over here at the URL. You see mail.google.com/u1 inbox and so on, right? When you compose email, it says /new email. So same way, API have their specific endpoints. Endpoint is like the system endpoint where we can send a request and that request can directly be sent to the server. We don't need a middle layer as such. So APIs are primarily defined these kind of things, endpoint for each of the action. There are different type of actions available with API, as well as there are like data structures. So when you write an email over here, you put some body, you put some sort of subject, to, from, and so on. Same thing goes into this kind of a language called JSON, right? So JavaScript object-oriented things, right? So this is how the API document at least look like. Yep. Don't feel bothered about that. Like no need to put any stress on your head for a brain for now. I'll just walk you through a practical example as well. So first of all, APIs seems like this. Second, where we can find any software API as such. So as I said, like either you can go to that particular software vendor or software provider's website and search within that page, or maybe somewhere at the bottom of the section at the footer, you will see there is a section called developer or API directly. So what does it mean, developer? Like, because APIs are generally used by the developer themselves, or like people who are like technical or engineers, they use it. So generally, the software companies put a section dedicated for developers, which has API integration or API documentation as well. Or you can directly find API word itself on the website somewhere. Or maybe if you don't find it on a software vendor website, you can simply do a Google search. So let me show you one of the example over here. Let's say if I wanted to go for Gmail API documentation, right? I just type in, I say Gmail API docs. Simple method is you can just type and go here. You will see a couple of top results which are come from Google. It says like, okay, here's the Gmail API documentation available. Murali is asking, are we deviating from AI class? No, this is purely automation class. So I'm going to show you how you can use AI within automation. So at the start, I mentioned that we are going to learn how to use that AI, whatever you learned, Adjective Hub or maybe ChatGPT or Cloudy or something else in your processes. Because so far you learned how things works, but how to implement them in the practical life, that's what we are going to learn now at a scalable level. Because if you're still going to operate the same AI with hands, with manual efforts, then it's of like very limited use, right? But if you can convert that into a proper like automated process, then AI can help you scale your business to next level. Okay, let's coming back to this main point. So over here, this is how the API documentation look like. First of all, sorry, I'm not taking any more questions for now at this point. We'll just walk through this whole fundamental session. Then before we jump into make, I'll take questions. So guys, let's put back attention over here. So this is our user interface for the whole Gmail, right? And where users are working. But what if we start working with API? So we need specific API documentation, API knowledge of Gmail, how they work, what kind of attributes, what kind of data it requires. So over here, once we go to developer.google.com Gmail APIs, you just search on Google and you'll find it. You see here, there are certain things given on this particular section. Let me just zoom in. It says Gmail API. And all the actions which you take on Gmail user interface can be taken up here as well. So see here, it says create email or create draft or send email, upload attachment. So let's say I just click on, let's say create draft, for example, for now. See here, it says working with drafts, and here is a complete API code given over here. So there is a endpoint like this, as well as there is complete code for Python language given over here, how you can create or save a draft message directly inside your Gmail inbox without just going on the user interface. Same way, updating draft, maybe send draft or maybe send emails. All of these things are available right on the Gmail itself. But now there can be a big question like, can you operate this language? Can you operate Java? Can you operate Python? Right. And even before that, I would like to show you something on the API interface itself, what I showed you, what I missed earlier. So this whole thing, when we load Gmail or when we do any action on Gmail, I shown you that waiter concept, right? The middleware concept, the middleman concept. So let me show you something. You can do it yourself as well. Not now, later on, just do it. So when you open Gmail on your computer screen, just press F12 and you will see this kind of a window right here. Now, whatever actions I take on this particular user interface, you will see what's happening at the backend. Let's say I just opened this particular email, clicked here, and there is a series of actions that are happening over here, right? So this got us still getting things. So all of these are API calls happening behind the scene. See, so this is the API endpoint which this particular user interface exists. It got the method, it got certain things. It says, okay, got all the data which has to be presented back on this particular UI. So this is how the APIs are working at the backend of the whole system. Whatever software you operate, whatever website you operate, all of them these days are cloud-based and they all are working using API only. Even if you go to, let's say, ChatGPT over here, let's say, even if I, or maybe let's open this particular LinkedIn page, right? If I click F12 and I just wanted to go home, see here, so many calls are happening and these are so fast you don't even realize. You just see that the page is loading quite fast, right? If I click on this particular post, I say load more content or maybe visit the person's profile. See here, so many calls are happening again at the backend, and all of them are written into JavaScript or some sort of Python or kind of HTML code, which obviously as a human we can't see and we can't read it, but that's how systems are working at the backend front. So let's get back to our main stream. So we saw like how APIs are working, where we can find API documentation as well as how the API look like. Now, what all things we can do with API? So as I said, we can do almost any action which is we are doing on user interface can be done on API as well. Even more than that, because there are so many hidden things available, which in general, if we take like which are not essential as such for the user interface, those are also available on the API interface side. Now, what all things we can do? So primarily there are a couple of methods or there are a couple of type of actions which you can do. One is called the create a record. So in case if you wanted to create a record in your software, now it can be any software, and this is quite of a generic language. So for example, when you say create record, in terms of email, it's kind of creating a new email or create a new draft. In terms of a CRM system, it can be create a lead or a deal or a record. If you go on let's say Google Sheets, for example, you're creating a new line, you put some information on a record, that also considered as a create a record. If you go on, for example, Google Drive, right? If you upload a new file, that means you're creating a new record on Google Drive database, right? So that create record thing can be done across any software using API. Same way, if you wanted to view records from any database, you wanted to view all emails, you wanted to see all the lines, you want to work with a Google Sheet or Google Drive files, then we can retrieve records, and that is called view or retrieve method. Same way, we can update any existing record as well. We can delete record from our software. We can search for a specific record based upon certain criteria, conditions, logics, and so on. And we can also list record as per our requirement, all message, all leads, all deals, and so on. And finally, along with that, we can also have some sort of triggers from our software. Let's say as soon as any new email arrives, so we can get triggered the automation workflow. So those triggers are generally known as webhooks, right? A little technical word, don't go into that. I'll show you later on this class itself. So yeah, this is how the API can work with any software, and all of these actions can be taken up. Now, there is a big roadblock. I shown you this whole thing over here with F12. And you realize like obviously we can't directly work with APIs because either they're written on some alien language, or if you see here, it's all pure Python or pure JavaScript, and there is no other third option given over here, right? So what to do? Can't we do automations? Obviously not. So there are some good companies, good people who took initiative and who wanted like democratize this, right? Or I would say who wanted like everyone should be able to use the automation, the power of integrations, so they can work efficiently, right? So it should not be just limited to developers, just limited to technical people. it should reach to the common person as well. Anyone, any professional, any business person who wanted to achieve a greater scale, more advantages using automation integration. There are like some initiatives, some innovations happen. So what is the answer? The answer is no code, low code tools, right? Which we are going to explore, which I already shown you with the make.com. Now, there are plenty of no code, low code tools available in market or platforms available in market, like starting from Zapier, make.com, Power Automate, and so on. And if you search just on google.com, if you search it, you may find hundreds of such tools, right? Now, we are going to talk about a few of them, which are like top line, which are most used by businesses or most trusted by businesses. So first of all, in the list comes is Zapier. Now, Zapier is currently used by almost 2.5 million businesses, 25 lakhs businesses across the globe. One of the top tool started about 10 years back, and they are leading the whole market because there is a good need and they are the first mover. They have advantage. Same way in the line, recently emerged a good tool about 6 years back is called make.com. Earlier it was used to call Integromat, and now it got acquired by some company. So it got name change. It says Make, right? So Make is what I shown you already. Then third tool come from Microsoft, which is called Power Automate. So Power Automate also has good capabilities, almost kind of Zapier interface. And this can also handle like almost any kind of things. Then we have a couple of other tools which called Automate.io, Kissflow. If you wanted to go with some Indian company, that's called Pabbly. So Pabbly is just a replica of Zapier, and they are India-based, Bangalore-based, I think. So these are a couple of good tools which are exist in market at this day, and you can use among them. Now, what things or what parameter we should consider before we decide which one to go with, right? So I'll show you a couple of things in the next slide, as well as today's focus we are going to put on make.com. Why? There are some reasons. So first of all, like if I would recommend or if I would wanted to choose a good tool for my business, I would go among top three. So top three are either Zapier, make.com, or Microsoft Power Automate. Now, Zapier is quite expensive. So when we just compared the top two tools, Make and Zapier, we found that Zapier is almost 20 times more expensive than make.com. So if you go with Zapier, you can get like 750 credits for $29. Versus if you go with make.com, you get 10,000 credits for $10. And what these credits, operational tasks, I'll show you later on in the session when we do practicals. But yeah, so that's all. Second thing, make.com has a really good visual flow builder. So we can build any type of automation. We can break it. We can just play kind of a canvas. So how you do paintings on canvas, same way we can do everything on make.com as well. So I'll show you how easy is that. Third thing, these tools already have some sort of like pre-built API integration. So when I show you Make over here, you see this Gmail module, ChatGPT, these kind of Facebook, Instagram, they are already pre-built available inside Make. But at times that happens, like you may have a software which does not exist on Zapier or Make, right? You may have to make some custom API call, or you directly have to work with API because you wanted to build a complete workflow. So make.com has good capabilities while working with custom API calls, right? And that's super important because if you have a whole flow and one step is missing, it may happen that your whole like entire flow does not make sense, or it's not completed, or still you have to put some manual effort. So the platform should have capability itself to accommodate any sort of custom things as well, right? So Make does that. Then something really important is about data handling. I'll show you that experience as well, how easy it is to handle data in Make. Because at times, let's say, if you get a form filled, for example, and you have someone's full name provided there, like my name is Manish Mandot. So I have entered a full name in one box. And if I wanted to split that name into first name, last name, and enter somewhere else, like on an email, hi Manish, if I want to write that, right? So how easy or how difficult it is to handle within a software that makes it like the choice factor, right? If you still wanted to write a small code or something to split a name, that becomes a roadblock. So Make has really good data handling. It has advanced functions, advanced options available, which can help you to do almost anything in a very seamless, very easy way. And finally, the last very, very important point is reliability. What reliability is? So when you start deploying automation for your business, right, you start actually depending on the automation, you remove people from the process, and there is no longer anyone who's take care of it except that automation platform or that automation company itself. Now imagine, I mentioned earlier, if you are processing maybe 50 orders with 5 people, that's fine. But if you process 1,000 orders with a particular system, there are no people around, right? And the system is taking care of everything. If that system goes down, your entire business can collapse immediately because you are no longer having any people and everything is done by some operating or some sort of automation system. Now, that makes it really critical to have a reliable system in place, right? Because in terms of reliability, like two things covered, I would say. One is availability of that particular platform, like how far or how much time it is up and live running actually. And second, how easy and securely it can handle your data. So in terms of, let's say, if some platform is stealing your data and they are selling it somewhere or maybe doing some misuse at all, then reliability also get compromised. So when we talk about Make and Zapier, they are very much reliable platforms. They follow all the global level compliances like HIPAA is there for medical record management. GDPR is there for like European standard, where all the data security rules are there in place, and even personal data security are also there. So those are becomes really critical. Plus, these platforms already handle millions of businesses. So when I talk about Zapier, it handle about 2.5 million businesses across globe. Same way, Make is managing about 800,000 businesses across globe for their automation process. So that makes these platforms really reliable and stable. You may find some more cheaper options, maybe free options as well, but they are not worth putting your all business at stake. So I would recommend to go with a reliable platform completely. Now, after that, I would like to focus on what can be automated and what cannot be automated. We should be very clear because once you like listen a word, hear a word called automation, your mind start like juggling what all things I can automate in my business, right? And you start thinking about it. But there are certain rules, there are certain, let's say, fundamentals there which you should follow, and you should assess whether you wanted to or whether a process can be automated or not at all. Is it worth automating or not? So first of all, among that is automation is completely depend upon the APIs, right? So ensure that or check that if your software has API available, then only it can be automated. If not, then that cannot be automated. Or maybe there is other way like Selenium script or some sort of the data entry scripting, computer-based task automation. It's going to be way beyond and off track completely, right? So ensure that for a seamless, easy integration, the softwares should provide API or should have APIs. Now, here also one important point comes in. For example, let's say most of the softwares or most of the global level, good level companies are there. They provide API subscription within their standard plan. So let's say if you subscribe to Gmail, for example, Gmail already giving you APIs within their whole bundle of subscription. Either it's free or paid or whatever. If you go for any CRM, Monday.com, Airtables, OCRM, they also include their API access within the same price which you pay for their licenses. But in case of some softwares, they charge separately for API. And even the cost of that API can be higher than your license cost. For example, ChatGPT. ChatGPT has an interface where you can simply interact with GPT. You can type some things and it can return you answered questions and so on. But when you start using ChatGPT API, it charges you separately. Remember, like in last session, we also said some credits are expired or we don't have any balance in our ChatGPT API wallet, right? So the same thing happens. You're paying $20 for ChatGPT premium access. That's a separate thing. There you can use ChatGPT on a UI, on a human interface. But when you start interacting with API, APIs make the process very much scalable. Like how much you can use ChatGPT on a user interface, on a system computer, right? You'll have human limitations as well. You can put some prompt or maybe some sort of content, 1 hour, 2 hour, maybe 1,000-line content you can generate. But with the use of API and automation, I can generate 100,000 lines of content or maybe a million words from ChatGPT. And GPT cannot afford that. So that's how they differentiated the usage between API use and the UI use, right? So you have to pay for API use as well. So before you assess that you wanted to automate a process, you want to automate a task, ensure that you check first your software has the API available. Second, your software API cost is either included, is it bearable or not bearable? Like Is it within your budget or not budget? You should check that first. Second thing is process should be repetitive enough, because let's say if you are creating invoices, for example, the invoice pattern is always same. You don't have to apply any mind, right? So that process can be automated with certain rules, predefined steps, conditions, and logics, right? If you have a business decision to be made, for example, you wanted to buy a property, right, from someone, and there are 10 more factors you wanted to consider before you take a decision, and that's going to be purely human. So even if you automate half of that process, still you have to do the manual decision making, still you have to do some more stuffs with your own availability, your own presence, right? So it's better to avoid such process automation, because ultimately it is not fully automated. You can't rely on systems. The system is half relying on you as well. So it's not worth automating if it is not repetitive, and if it cannot be have like predefined rules, steps, or conditions or logics, right? So always check these two very important factors. Otherwise, you will end up investing so much time, effort with clueless like what you automated actually, and how automation is not helping you at all in your entire journey. So just take so again, the opposite of it, like what cannot be automated, any process which require ad hoc human decision making or some sort of ad hoc steps should not be automated, not recommended. Second, softwares which does not have API, either you can consider getting their replacements, some other software, maybe some other CRM, some other mailing system which has good API structure available, or the APIs which are having less cost or already included within your current standard plan. That's good. So yeah, that is the important point before we even think about the automation. Now, one more important thing before you even touch the automation, there's something called pre-automation checklist. Now, this is super important, because if you get some idea and you start building that automation immediately, you may end up with nothing. Why? Because automation is done on top of an existing process, right? So you should first of all have some process underlying to it, and then you can think about, okay, how I'm going to automate this task or this whole step of the process. If you don't even thought about the process itself, then it doesn't make sense to automate it, because you're doing two things together. If you go just unprepared, you will build a process, you will think about the process, as well as you are putting your hands on automation, and that's an utter waste of time. So always have a process in hand first of all, right? So automations are going to build on an existing task, existing process always, right? So as the pre-checklist, first of all, you should have a process. That's important. Second point is you should always create a list of all the apps and also check whether they have API available or not. As I said, free, paid, and so on. And the third thing, very important, is you should build a flow chart, because let's say when you do a certain thing, I shown you some process at the start. You do ideation, you do content generation, then you do content posting, some sort of lead generation, and so on. All of these process steps has some sort of input, processing, and output. Even we do anything, right? Even we prepare a food, we cook something in our kitchen. We have ingredients, then we go to gas stove, we turn it on, we put some ingredients over there, we cook it, and then we eat, right? So it's a whole process of input, processing, and output. So each of these steps within your own business, within your own career, profession, will have the same methodology of input, processing, output. So always define that with your set logics, with your expectation, how do you want them to follow through? And then only you should, once you're clear on that part, like this is how I'm going to handle the automation process, this is my data, this has to happen in this condition 1, condition 2, condition 3, and so on, then you should prepare a flow chart, get clarity about it, so you can be sure what is going to be the outcome of this automated system. Very, very important. Yeah. So being that said, like this is the whole fundamental of automation. We spoke about the API stuff. We saw the API in working condition, as well as we saw a couple of tools. We chose make.com. Why choose on top of Zapier or Microsoft Automate? And then we have also discussed what can be automated, what cannot be automated. And now we are good to move to the practical session of the make.com. Before that, I would like to take a hold for just 5 minutes and let me take some questions from you guys. So can we add automation to our own made application Android? Yes, you can do. If your Android app has any APIs available, you can do. Power BI also one such tool. Not actually. Power BI is for the presentation or informative part. It is not for the automation as such. Guys, just go a little slow. Actually, the questions are overwhelming. So please go slow. Any free business sharing? Not sure what is that. What exactly API keys are? Okay, perfect. I'll take a pause. You also should please pause your questions now. Otherwise, it'll just go up somewhere. So what is API key? Now, for example, you saw this Gmail stuff over here. I saw all these Gmail APIs, send email, create draft, upload attachment, and so on, manage mailbox. See, is it enough to have all these APIs to access anyone's mailbox? Let's say I have this API structure available. Can I access your mailbox? Or can I do anything? Can I send emails from your mail? Can I save draft or can I read your emails? Exactly no. Why? Because Gmail has certain authentication button in the middle. So for example, if you log into your Gmail or any other system, you require a user ID and password that authorize you as a user and say, yes, you are the right user for a particular account. And Gmail or any system is going to give you access to that particular space. The same thing happens in case of API as well, because API is nothing. It's just a second method of accessing the same system. Whatever you do using UI, user interface, same thing is done by a software on your behalf. So it should recognize that end system, that server, that you are the right user. So if I'm going to, let's say, generate an API key of my Gmail account, then I can access only my own Gmail account, not your Gmail account, right? So even before we use all of these API structure, any code or something, we should tell Gmail that, yes, I'm the right user for the right account. And it is going to allow API access to, or access to the APIs to my account, right? How Vaibhav shown you last time, the ChatGPT API key, or this, they said like it's a Growth School masterclass API key, which will be disabled after 24 hours and you'll have to use your own API key. So that means actually that API key is generated on Growth School account. They have paid for it for now. And once they deactivate, you'll have to use yours. So then GPT system, the backend server will recognize where this person is coming from and what kind of access should I give them, right? So that is just nothing but API is the user ID password of your like API system or your API calls exactly. So that's the API. Now, your LinkedIn, please, I'll share later on. Can we scrap data, make it work? Yes, we can do many things. So there are many scrappers available with APIs. So you can get like Browse AI is one of the example. So you can get things scrapped and directly get into make.com or through API, you can get the data and work along. Working on backend, what tool we used? Not sure. What is that? LinkedIn, how to check API. I already shown you whether the API is available or not. Simple. The best step is go to Google and search for the software. Let's say if I go for Zoho CRM API documentation, right? You just type in here and you will see some reference over here. So it says like Zoho CRM developers docs API. Click on this and you will see the whole structure of API. Generally, we use REST API over here. So click on REST APIs and you will see it. Or if you're not sure, just ask your software provider. You will have some sort of contact support or chat or something on their website. So just go and ask whether they have APIs available or not. Then whether check APIs, I do patching automation in my organization using patching tools. Okay, there may be some tools. I'm not very sure about that. Any free business share? Okay. Can we do the same for Outlook? Yes, we can do. Just search for Outlook APIs and even make.com directly have Outlook module available inside here. So let's say if I just double click over here and I will say Outlook, you will see Outlook Microsoft 365. Microsoft 365 is directly connected with cloud and all of their actions, all of their things are available through API. So we can do any actions over here. I'll come to this part later on, guys. So yeah. If site does not support API, but a simple operation require website screen sharing, not sure. Make workflow work. No, Make cannot work on screen scrapping as such. It is a backend tool completely. So it works only within its own environment and we can connect softwares over here using API. It cannot go and operate your system at all. No. API using in Obsidian. Yes, Obsidian has APIs. I used them earlier. Career in machine learning. Okay, API F12. It works on any laptop. I'm using Apple MacBook now. F12 works here as well as on Windows as well. Pre-automation tool API. I think we are good. So there are no much constructive questions as such. So now it is high time to jump into the practical sessions where we are going to see how make.com works. We're going to establish that from scratch, right? So what to do, how to sign up, how to set up Make, everything we'll do in this practical session. And we already spent about 45 minutes of our time. Next 90 minutes, again, we are going to have a pure practical session. So don't do it with me. I'll share you all the guide, everything later on. Just try to learn, understand, and how to configure a make.com account and how everything works. So let's get in here. First of all, I opened a basic thing, a blank browser, and we can go with make.com. If you have that particular magic link, you can go with that particular link, or else you simply go on Make and click on understood, that's fine. You can click on get started for free. Now, here we're going to create a full account from scratch. Buyani, can we get a 5-minute break? Sorry, we should not actually, because we are already late and this is going to take at least 90 minutes. You can have some sort of working break if you want, but I will not recommend break for now. Okay, so over here, Make has multiple methods to sign up. One is like Google. You can just go with your Google Gmail or something. You can also sign up with your Facebook stuff, or if you are a developer, because Make is generally used by developers or technical people, so they also have given an option for GitHub login, but not relevant much. So you can simply go with either Google or fill in your details. So just type in, let's say Manish, my name, and I can say Manish at GrowStacks. You can put a password over here as per the password guideline. And then over here, two things important. One is called hosting region. Second is called country. Now they have two hosting region, like where Make servers exist actually. One is EU, European Union. Second is USA. So Make does not have any servers hosted available inside India or anywhere in Asia. So this generally becomes irrelevant for us. EU and US, as I said, they are following some HIPAA compliances, GDPR compliances. That's why they wanted to keep these two separate data centers, these two separate server hosting places. So you can select, if you are in India, you can select anything. If you are in Europe, you can select EU or US as per your country preference. Then secondly, we should select the country. This should be always right, because I shown you earlier, this scenario is going to run every day at 10 a.m., right? But who's 10 a.m.? So if I select by default in my account, it's India, it's going to be India 10 a.m. If I select, let's say Pakistan, it's going to be Pakistan ka 10 a.m., right? Or maybe UK, it's UK 10 a.m. So while you create account, this is super important. You should select the right country in place and simply click on sign up for free. So make.com is going to give you by default 1000 operations for free. They do not charge anything. So the free plan is there. If you go for Magic Link, you'll get 10,000. And if you go for a paid plan subscription, I'll show you later on. Now, once you sign up on the make.com, you will see this kind of a landing page, this kind of home page, which says organization. And in middle, someone is asking for the Magic Link. Okay, so here is the Magic Link. You can simply take a screenshot. This is the part. I'll request Om or Funny, someone, like if you can put this link on chat or somewhere, that will be helpful.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yes.
Perfect. So over here, this is how Make look like. This is the landing page within Make. Now, primarily first option is called organization. And this kind of a dashboard you see. So remember I told you Make is 20 times less expensive than Zapier, or Zapier is 20 times more expensive than Make. What does it mean actually? And how this works primarily? So essentially, Make give you credits or operations or task. All these three things are same. You see here, it says 10,000 operations per month for $10, right? And I have like 12,000 operations in my account. So what does it mean? So when I show one of the example over here, I use this entire Gmail workflow. Now Make has to do task on your behalf, right? So let's say you ask it like, watch my emails. So see if there is a new email comes in. Make will do the task for you. It is going to watch that particular email and take the whole content inside Make environment. Then second task, I said, assess this content with ChatGPT and check whether it's relevant for reply or not. So this is the second task Make did. The third task which I asked it, if it is relevant, then go ahead and create a reply. And the fourth task, go ahead and create that reply or store that reply into the same Gmail reply draft. So Make essentially is going to do four things if the reply is relevant or the email is relevant. If it is not relevant, it's going to simply move it here and will park that email into a other folder which says reply not required, right? So what happens here? Make is doing the whole process, each of the tasks on your behalf. And that's what Make is charging for. Or be it Zapier, or be it Power Automate, or Kissflow, or Pabbly, or something. All of these platform works or charge based upon how many tasks they perform for you, right? Now, these are tasks over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what Make does, Make is giving you 10,000 credits, and it will ask you like whatever workflow you do, that's fine. I'm going to charge you whenever your workflow will run. I'm going to charge you for that. So Make is giving us 10,000 operations for $10. In case if you wanted to enhance the plan, you can choose the higher plans and all. On this particular screen, this graph, you see how many credits you have and how many are already used. So it says 94% of my credits are already used. This entire thing shows the usage pattern as well. So how many operations are used every day. So generally like 500, 600 operations are being used on a day in, day out basis. Depends upon my volume, how many emails I'm getting, or how many posts I wanted to create on social media or something else. It can be any task, any workflow, anything, right? Whatever app you connect, it's all depend upon that. Then there is something called another stuff, data transfer. This is again important, like similar to what we have in operations. Now, I'll just walk you through here. For example, you did one task over here. You asked Make to get all the emails in and check whether they're relevant or not. So to do that, Make actually got some data from Gmail, right? And here you see, this is one operation where it got the email from this person. The sender is this one. Hello student, Udemy. Say big on the skills and certificate course and so on. And actually to perform this particular task, Make has to process a data of 256 kilobyte, right? Now you will see like this is hardly any data. 256 KB is nothing, right? But when it accumulates, when this workflow is going to run 10,000 times or 50,000 times, this data will keep on accumulating. And even in case if you're doing any social media post, for example, let's say if you wanted to upload a video on YouTube automatically, that video can be of 1 GB, 2 GB, 500 MB, and so on. So Make has to handle that data as well along with the task, and they keep a track of it altogether. So it says like for every 10,000 operation purchase, you're going to get 5 GB of data transfer free. And if you want more, you can buy more. So over here, they track the data transfer as well. Now, as I said, in case of smaller applications like this Gmail ka email processing or some sort of content generation or maybe lead handling, CRM and all, the data is hardly in kilobytes. But when it goes to the heavy data lifting, for example, video posting or maybe some sort of image generation, then the data becomes even huge. So at that time, this data usage will impact a lot. Now, in terms of the plan, let's go to subscription on Make.com. By default, as I said, Make has a free plan available, which is $0 every month. You don't have to put any card, any credit card, any debit card at all. And it's going to give you 1,000 operations for free every month on their free forever plan. So I think mostly if you just wanted to run 1 or 2 automations or you have very less usage, you can simply go with a free plan. No need to pay anything. And it has a limit of 2 active scenarios at a time. So you can just run 2 active workflows. Mostly it can be enough for like any small business, right? In case if you decide to go more or beyond that, you can simply go for a core plan, which is $10, and it can give you 10,000 operation. It has multiple slab as well. So for example, if you wanted to go for 20,000 operation, 30, 40, 50, 60,000, you can simply go for the higher plan. Let's say, for example, 80,000 operations a month plan can cost you $64, approximately 5,000 rupees in Indian rupees, right? Which can give you 80,000 tasks to be automated. So that's how Make plan works. Then they have a couple of more upgraded advanced plan called Pro plan, Teams plan. Essentially, what I feel is 99% of the people or users of Make are good with core plan itself. You don't have to waste or just invest extra money at all with these higher plans. Everything can be done within this as per like 99% requirements can be fulfilled here itself. So just stick with core plan unless until you find something really important which you wanted to upgrade over here. Now, one very important aspect over here. See, when you start using automation within your company, within your business, within your setup, startup, whatever, you would want multiple people to access the system. And mostly we see platforms charge based upon number of users use that platform. Let's say if you are an owner of the company or owner of the process or someone, you wanted to give access to your colleague who's working into accounting, who's working into marketing, sales, or something else. They should also be able to build their workflows. Then it becomes really challenging for all other systems, all other platforms. But the beauty of Make is it gives you unlimited free users. So it's just focused on the number of operation. It does not charge you anything for the users you add on the platform. And you can even define the roles. So let's say someone can be a member, admin, or app developer, or some sort of limited rights. So all those things can be handled really well. And yeah, that's how you can add more and more users over here. So they do not charge you anything for the extra users. You can add any people you wanted to work with. Now, on top of that, you would see there's a Teams plan, which is quite complex and like mostly unwanted for us. You can have multiple teams set up within Make, which cannot see each other's scenario, or they are like having their separate connection, ID, password, API integrations and all. Essentially, mostly not required for many organizations at all. So yeah, these are a couple of important stuff over here for Make. Now, it provides you billing for either monthly or yearly. So you can have discount if you go for yearly billing. So it just becomes $9, about 10% discount or something. So you can either choose monthly, yearly, that's fine. Now, there can be a good question from you. See, I have assets like I assumed I'm going to go for a 10,000 operation plan. That's my usage for now. What if the next lab is 20,000? What if I wanted to buy only 12,000 or 13,000 operations? You see here, I have 12,000 operations over here. What can be done? So if you are end up with your 10,000 operation plan, they have a good option called buy extra operations. So you don't have to jump on the next lab itself. You can simply buy some extra operations, which may be 1,000, 2,000, so on. So if I click on here, buy extra operation, you see, you can buy operation in the denomination of 1,000 each. And for each 1,000, it costs you $1.06, about 70, 80 rupees, Indian rupees. And you can choose how many you wanted to buy. So 10, 11, 12,000, 15,000, whatever your requirement is. So essentially, you don't have to jump on the next slab. That is very complex, like very flexible to have as much as you want. So yeah, that's a quick brief about Make for now. Even you can enable automatically buy operations, so you don't have to do manually. As soon as your operations are getting exhausted, consumed, the system will automatically buy 10,000 operations for you in the system. So now I just pause for 1 sec and I'll take some questions over here. So someone asked KVA Kati, what is one operation? I just shown here. So all of these tasks happening on this entire workflow is considered one operation at each step. So for example, I'm taking this Gmail email inside Make. I wanted to watch whenever the new email comes in. Make go and access the Gmail API, get that email content inside Make, and will publish here for, let's say we'll take it here for the next step usage. So this is one operation. Same with this content goes to the second step for ChatGPT to analyze. This is second operation. Third operation to simply park that email into no reply folder or reply not required folder. This is third operation. So each of these steps are considered one operation at a time. So that's it. Now, are credits carried forward? No. If you buy any extra credit, they cannot be carried forward. Is Magic Link giving 10,000 operations free every month? No, it is just for the first month only. And that is primarily for you to onboard on the system. So you can have like almost all testings. You can do as many scenarios you want. And once you're done with that, you can either move to free plan or you can continue the paid plan, the core plan. Important. Yeah. Then can we integrate with Slack? Yes, we can do. I'll show you a couple of examples which we have done for many clients. I mean, how automation is using backend with our account. Did we see process of it? I'll show you that as well while I'll rebuild these scenarios in front of you. Can you please make one on from? Yeah, I'm going to do that. So that's why the practical session is there. Does it work with WhatsApp and other message integration? Yes, it does. I'm going to show you that as well. How to get free operations? I shared you a Magic Link. You can just go for that. How much data transfer is free for a month? I think it's just 1 GB for free. Let me check. Let's just go here, subscription. And here is it says, I think it's 1 GB. It doesn't mention here, but it's up to 1 GB is free. In case of paid plan, you can just go for 5 GB per 10,000 operation purchase. So if you buy 20,000 operations, you get 10 GB transfer and so on. Is it one operation every 15 minutes? Yeah, there are some advanced techniques which we can avoid this 15 minutes per operation as well. But yeah, whenever the scenario is going to trigger, it's going to take at least one operation if there are no emails. If there are emails, then it's going to process everything and will take the number of operations multiplied by number of emails you process. For a large enterprise, using Make is very expensive. Yeah, one very important thing using these no-code, low-code tools. See, they are good for small businesses, small processes. Like when you have limited stuff, maybe you have 10 people, 50 people, you wanted to onboard 50, 60, 70 process, that's fine. If you go on more volume on a particular process, then it's good to go with coding solution because let me just show you something that will blow your mind actually. So I have one of the client from Australia, and that client, believe me, is paying $5,000 a month to Make. So over here, this is called Counter Education. And if you see their account, just showing you their plan, the paid stuff, how much people are paying to Make to run their process smoothly. So this particular client is paying $5,181 a month. They are on Teams plan and they bought 4 million operations from Make on a month basis. They already consume like about what 3.7 billion. So this much organizations are dependent upon the Make.com or these kind of systems. All depends upon you. If you wanted to scale your processes within Make, that's fine. If not, you can simply go with any custom coding solutions as well. So yeah. Draft is using consider different operation. Yes, each of the steps will be a different hosting reason. Put as EU, that's fine, no worries. Because for India or for Asian countries, does not make difference because like we do not have any Make servers here in India. So yeah, no worries on that. Folks, great, don't get forward. Okay, different UI path. UI path is completely different. It works on UI. Make is working primarily on the API-based integration. Is it valid only for a month? Yes. If I need to fetch stock market price data, yes, you can do such things. You can use Yahoo Finance, Google Finance, or even there are so many paid servers or paid these things available, which trigger you the latest stock price. So many integrations can be done. It is almost endless. So no worries on that. Okay, I think this is good. Many common questions are there about operations repeated. I'll leave them. Fine, guys. So let's do one thing. Let's get into Make for the scenario type. Like we are going to build something from scratch, as I promised. Whatever these scenarios these two build are there, I'm going to walk you through step by step how to use Make. This is just a fundamental thing. We saw how Make look like. Now we are going to actually build the automation scenario with Make. So once you get on this kind of landing page, you see here, there's something called create a scenario button, right? And same way, there is something called here as well on left panel scenarios. Either you click here or you can simply go there on scenarios. Now, Make has organized a couple of good things. So all of your scenarios look like this throughout. Whatever you build, it can be any app, it can be any automation scenarios, everything will come up here. They're classified into few things. One is all scenario by default. There can be active scenarios as a separate filtered, or there can be inactive and something called concept or templates as well. So don't focus on that. Like these are the primary scenarios that we can see. Now you see here, there's a toggle button on off. So by default, these scenarios are on, these are off. I can simply turn on anything of them, any one of them. So simply toggle on off and that's done. In case if you wanted to categorize your work in a proper way in multiple folders, Make gives you a good opportunity to create folders as well. So I created multiple folders here, let's say testing, Alina, CRM project, LinkedIn giveaway, and so on. So I can park my specific scenarios into specific folders. So for example, let's say automation DIY projects. I have all of these things parked over here. So when I click on this, I see only these many scenarios within this folder particularly. Okay. Then once you click on create a new scenario, let's click here. You see this kind of open canvas where first of all, you can give name to your scenario. So let's say I'll say GS masterclass test scenario, right? You can give it any name, that's fine. You see there is a circle available, which is a kind of placeholder, right? So this is the trigger point where we are going to start our entire automation workflow. Before that, let's quickly walk through a couple of these settings as well. So first of all, you can set up the scenario timing. Like whenever you wanted to run the scenario, it should be set up as per your requirement every day, every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes, and so on. There are a couple of things called save button. So you can Make does not have one thing very important. Make does not have auto save facility. You should always save your scenarios. Otherwise, you will lose all the progress. So that's very important. Then you can have a couple of more features like you can export scenario blueprint, you can import scenario blueprints, you can have multiple flow controls over here. I'll come to that later on. And in case if you wanted to explore what all applications available on Make, you can simply click on this plus button and it is going to show you a whole list of different apps which are exist or available on Make as a pre-default integration, right? Now, if you click on here on this plus button on the circle to start the scenario, you see by default there is a list comes in like this, and it has few commonly used application at the top and then more applications over here as soon as you scroll down. So for example, let's say if you wanted to use Gmail, I simply type Gmail and you see the Gmail apps comes at the top. Now, this is Gmail example. Same way I can go for Google Sheets. So just type in Google Sheet and it will come here like this. So Google Sheet module, and it has multiple things available over here. So you can use any of the app as per your requirement. Just search and you will find it. Make by default support more than 2000 popular business applications. So mostly work will be done. Like you can find almost all your apps over here. But in case still if you're using something which does not exist on Make, then we are going to do custom API call, which I shared you as a like added advantage why we're using Make. So custom API calls are really easy within Make. So that I'll show you. Now, let's go for the first scenario that I promised you. So here we are going to build something for Gmail auto reply and save that as a draft. Now, what should be the start point? Like I wanted to get my Gmail integrated within Make.com. Yeah. So over here, I am going to look out for the Gmail module within Make. Here I found it like Gmail. It's a verified app within Make. Now, when I get into Gmail, I see this kind of a segregation, multiple groups over here, and all of these actions written. Right? So this is super important when we build any automation. Now, you'll have to understand one thing. See, when you do something, let's say if you are sitting on a system and you wanted to reply an email, to reply an email, the first thing, email should come from someone, right? So that's a trigger point. When someone send you an email, you will open it, you will see, read it, and then you're going to create a reply for their email. Same thing happens with the automation workflow as well. They require some sort of a trigger, right? When to start the workflow. So it can be either a time or it can be either an activity event happens on the software. So for example, we wanted to build a workflow which is going to reply our emails using ChatGPT and save them into a draft folder. Now what happens? This workflow will start only when there is a new email comes in your inbox, right? So each of these softwares will have a trigger, whether it's a time-based trigger or it's an event-based trigger. So currently we're talking about the event-based trigger. So now what Make did a good job is they have classified the triggers and the actions separately over here throughout this module, each of the module almost, right? So here see within Gmail, there is a trigger available called watch emails. And you see there is a small description written over here. It's called trigger when a new email is received to be processed according to specific criteria. So it is going to watch all the new emails that arrive into your mailbox, and then it will run through the scenario, right? So I clicked on watch emails, and as soon as I do, it's going to open this kind of a window. Now, someone asked me like, why we're using API key, right? So I'm going to show you something here. So let's say, for example, when you open this window, this particular bubble or this particular configuration, you see there is a connection required, right? So currently, even I set up a connection that's got expired. So first of all, we should integrate our own Gmail account within Make.com using API calls or using API key. Now, authentication then, like when I click on this add button, is asking me like a connection name. I can put any name, just what I wanted to recognize. So let's say I put in 5th Jan. This is my general way of writing. So I can put a date of the connection and the name of the connection. So I'll say Manish Bandroth Gmail, right? So I said 5th of Jan, I created connection on this date, Manish Bandroth Gmail. Now there are a few ways to authorize your API usage within Make. So first of all, you can either use API key, how like we generated from Growth School ChatGPT API key or something else API key that can be directly integrated over here, or many of the platform has direct sign-in option. So if you have Gmail login here on this particular window, and if you go here on Make.com, you say there is a button called sign in with Google. Just click on this and it will open a pop-up to reconfigure or reauthorize you as an API user. It's that simple. So you don't have to like put any API key as such. You don't have to find any API key. It can be straightforward done within the login sign up interface itself. So through this particular sign up or sign in, make or the system is going to recognize that yes, this user wanted to get authorization for the API as well. So for example, let's say I go with this Manish M, this one. Now it says over here, by continuing this, Google will share your all of these access and so on. Then I click on continue. It is going to ask me this kind of a message. So it says make want to access your Google account. And what make will do with my Google account? So says it is going to read, compose, send, and permanently delete all of your email from Gmail. So all of these permissions are given to make using my API integration, right? And if I say allow this, click OK and set up this connection, then Google is going to authorize make using APIs for my own account to do all these actions. So I just canceled it. I already have my connection established over here. So I don't need to do it again. So same way, once you do it, it's going to be the same process. So this is one method. Second method is if you're going to use ChatGPT inside Make, for example, let's say I have done this ChatGPT module, create a completion. And if I go and add a connection over here, now ChatGPT does not have any authentication mechanism like Google, right? So in that case, they are requiring an API key. So these are depend upon the platform. When you click on create a connection or add a connection, it's going to give you the right method as per the software vendor or software provider. So it can either ask you for an API key or it can ask you to sign in with the platform, and it's going to reauthorize your account as per the system requirement. Now, what we did here, so I already have my connection established like this. I have this one 24/11/2024 and Manish Pandot, right? As soon as I do it, Make is authorized to access all my email and do all the activities as per my automation scenario. Now, something important over here. So, first of all, if you're working with Gmail, as I said earlier, Google has provided API access to all the users for free of cost, because mostly when we use Gmail, we don't pay for it, right? It's all our personal accounts. But what Google did is like Google wanted to sell their own product as well. So have you heard about something called G Suite? G Suite is like where you can host your email with your specific domain name. So let's say I own a company called growstacks.com. I can have an email called manish.mandot@growstacks.com, for example, right? And that email provider can be Gmail as well. I can log in with that particular ID on Gmail, but I'll have to take a paid price subscription from Google, and that is called G Suite. So Google sell two type of services. One, free Gmail account for all of the common users for the personal type of usage, and the paid account for the business domain specific emails, right? Now, what Google did is smartly is they put a hurdle while you use API, because you're not paying them anything for either the Gmail use or their API use at all as a personal user. So what Google did it like Google discouraged the API usage, and that's how they said like if you're going to use API on any system with sign in with Google stuff, you have to go through a long process and then you'll be able to enable the API access. If you're using or if you're paying for Google as a G Suite account, then you don't have to go through that long process. Simply sign up with Google and rest everything will be taken by the Google system itself automatically. So if you are going to set up the Gmail connection with your own free account, the personal account, then what you should do is see here on every module inside make.com. Just below the connection, there is something called for more information, how to create connection to Gmail, see the online help. So this is available for every app which exists on Make. Simply click on this online help and it will take you to a help documentation. And it says over here, connect Gmail to Make. Now, there is an important information given over here as well, which says if your email ends with Google Mail or gmail.com, then you must create a custom OAuth connection and do certain things to use that API inside make.com. Just because Google is discouraging you to use API on your personal account, because ultimately they'll have to pay for it or their servers are consumed, right? And because of that, they don't want like, so it's simple. If you're using G Suite account, you don't have to do any of these things. Simply click on add connection and this will be done. So here is the entire methodology available, step by step, each of the things, and you can simply establish your connection as the given method. Now, since I already established my connection, so I can choose the connection over here. And I can choose the folder from which folder I wanted to check my emails. Now, if you go to Gmail, you see multiple folders here. It can be an inbox folder, It can be a social folder, it can be a promotion folder, it can be updates folder, and so on. So all of these are actually tags and folders created inside Google. Now, in case if you're using automation, Google gives you a good facility. Like you can classify from which particular folder you wanted to check your emails. So over here, we can simply go with inbox because most of the important emails comes on the inbox itself. Then it has a couple of more filters. So the simple filter as well as Gmail filters. So simple filter says like, do you want to see all the emails or only read emails or only unread emails? So for example, let's say if I go ahead and over here, I open this particular email, automation masterclass, need more information. If I click over here and this email is opened, now, do I want automation to consider this email to process or skip it? So simply I can put a criteria. Only unread emails should be processed to this, right? And then here also I can define how many emails I wanted to process at a particular given run, one scenario execution. So it can be 1, it can be 100, or it can be 1,000 as well. So no worries, I'll just put it 1 for now. So what I did here is I said I wanted to watch inbox, only unread emails. And when I, okay, there is one more setting, good setting here. Says like when I fetch that email, when I process that email, should I mark it as read email or should I still leave it as unread? So I said, yeah, mark it as read. So I don't want to even see that like this email is already handled by the system. I don't want to check it again. Perfect. Now, once you do it, see the automation you're creating today at this point, but your Gmail is already set up for a couple of years now, right? So you should have a starting point from when this automation is going to process your email, right? Now, Make has given one more good facility over here where you can choose which point you want to start from, like this automation should take care from. So over here, something is called from now onwards. So any emails come now onwards can be taken into this automation. Or do you want to process all the emails? If you say all emails, I have almost 37,000 emails in my mailbox. Maybe relevant, irrelevant, that's fine. But it's going to process all of them. I don't want that. Then it says, do you want to process email from a specific date? Let's say if I created automation from today, but I want to start this automation from 1st of Jan. I can simply give it 1st of Jan, this particular time, I want to start this automation. So from that date onwards, it's going to process all of my unread emails, right? Or even if not that, you can also choose from which particular email onwards you wanted to process mails. So let's say if I want to run email from my last 5 emails or from maybe 2 o'clock or somewhat point, right? I can simply choose my starting email from here and it can take care emails from that time. So all these things are happening through API. All this data which comes here is actually fetched by make.com from your particular email box using API call. And you see here, all the emails are listed right here available. So for example, let's say I say start from this particular email, Udemy, give discount and all. So it is going to take all the emails after this particular point. Right? So this is one thing. If I click run and I want to test this particular module, I can either choose simply click run once. You see here is going to get me the first email that Udemy one, which got me discount. So big save on skills. And you see here, all my email data comes here. So everything, whatever you see on UI is available here. So who's the recipient? I'm the recipient. Who's the sender? Udemy is sender. The header list, the attachment, if something is there, the labels of this email, as well as the entire text content also comes in. So to move ahead in your career in 2025, Udemy, there is a link. There may be some images as well on that email, not visible over here. So whole this content comes inside my email, right? So everything is whatever you see on UI comes over here as the API call as well. Now, as soon as I get the first email content, you see here, all of these content are segregated and well structured to map or to use into subsequent modules. So for example, let's say this is the first one. Second module, what I wanted to do is from my process understanding, I want to get ChatGPT analyze this email content. So I simply clicked over here. So once we have this first module added, you see here the small circle, add another module. Click on this and you'll see same way, the same placeholder, which has long list of different apps available over here. So someone asked me like, is WhatsApp available? Yes, WhatsApp is available over here. You see WhatsApp Business Cloud is there. If you wanted to use Telegram, it's also available. If you wanted to use Outlook, it's here. So you see, you just name it and you will find all the business applications over here. like about 2000 apps are there. Even YouTube is here. Many things are there, right? So we are more concerned about ChatGPT. So let's go for ChatGPT. I just wrote it and I found the ChatGPT is here at the top. Now, something super important. When you use ChatGPT on a regular interface, chatgpt.com, you see this kind of interface where you can write certain things and it's going to give you responses over here itself, right? Now, you can choose some model like you wanted to go with O1, 4O, mini, and so on, different things. You can do multiple actions. You can attach files. You can send some sort of text over here, some sort of voice note, and so on. So this is the UI interface of ChatGPT. Now, that is not the same as on the API side. So whatever we access over here is primarily API of ChatGPT, which has even way more functionalities as compared to the UI part. So if you see here, there are multiple modules available within ChatGPT, something called Message and Assistant, which is equivalent to your custom GPT. So if you wanted to use your custom GPT, you can directly have Message Assistant module and it can directly list your custom GPTs over here. Not the custom GPT which you created here, but these are actually GPT Assistant which are created inside GPT API. Then secondly, you have create a completion. Whatever you do here, the same thing can be done using create a completion module. Then you have transform data structure, text to structured data, analyze images, generate image, edit image, create translation using ChatGPT Whisper, even generate audio is also there. We can use vector file data store as well, and so many other things. Directly, we can work with OpenAI ChatGPT API as well. So many things can be done instead of like whatever we have limitations over here. The API models have more configuration, more functionalities over here on this system. Now, for our regular purpose, we wanted to go for create a completion. Whatever we use on our normal GPT, we wanted to use the same thing over here as well. So simply what I do, I selected my own connection. If you want to add your own connection, simply click on add connection and then it'll ask you to provide the API key. So you can use either Growth School API key or you can use your own API key from your system. Then here we can choose which GPT model we wanted to work with. So you can see a list of multiple models. And when we are working with API, just remember one thing, API has more flexibility, more features as compared to the UI aspect. So GPT has provided many more models as compared to the UI part. So they have like audio versions of modules, they have mini modules, they have like turbo modules, which can even handle larger data about like 10,000 words, 20,000 words, 50,000 words kind of data. So those large data can also be taken care. Plus it has multiple versions of the same model as well. So GPT-4 has multiple things, GPT 3.5, Turbo, Mini has multiple modules and so on. So let's say for this purpose, we are going for GPT-4o Mini system version. Yeah. Then you can define how many max token this should use because this token consumption will directly impact your balance or your funds you park into ChatGPT account, you recharge or upload funds, right? So in case if you wanted to, let's say, restrict the number of tokens, 500 tokens, 1000 tokens, then that's fine. I generally keep it blank. And here I can give it a message to GPT. Now, what is the message? So whatever prompt and the input you write here, the same thing can be configured over here as well. And the API part of ChatGPT has multiple roles over here. So one is the user role. If you wanted to work with ChatGPT as an equivalent user, then we can go for user role. If you wanted to work with GPT as your assistant, then we can define assistant role. Or if you wanted to give certain system instructions or certain, let's say, rule or certain, let's say, way of working, you can choose the developer role. So for now, let's go for assistant role. I want GPT to work like an assistant for me. Yep. Now, I can write a complete prompt over here. So I say like, you are helpful email manager. Maybe I can write it or I can have this entire prompt available. Response to this, create, or maybe read this email content. Guys, I'm not good at fast typing email content and define. Maybe I'll just take it from the other one. Actually, it's just taking unnecessary time. So over here, I designed a full prompt. Let me show you how the prompt look like. So what we are going to do is See, this is a full length prompt I can share with you as well after this class, or maybe Funny or someone can do it. So over here you can see this is a prompt. You are an intelligent email assistant that craft professional responses. Given an email, check if the email is important or it is a marketing mail, or update ka mail hai, promotion email and something else. Then classify that email into either reply required or reply not required. And then I have given something other things over here. So let's say I just pick this particular prompt right from my previous stuff and paste it. Now I'll say it here. I'm going to give you the email content, because currently this is just a prompt. I haven't given any information about my email, right? So what happens here is the email content, right? Email info, I would say. Now, who's the sender? So I'll simply say sender is equal to, and as soon as I click on any of these input box inside make, see the magic. Whatever information we got from this email over here, this is available to map in the next module. So as soon as I click, there is a small pop-up opens and it has all the mapping which are available in the output of this first module. So sender, I can choose, this is the sender name over here. As soon as I click, it can add it, or I'll say sender email and simply drag drop this particular email address over here. So now GPT knows who's the sender email. What is sender email? Same way I'll say email text. Then simply, sorry, something is wrong with keyboard. Okay. Email text, and I can simply add this email text over here to the GPT. Now it is a fully dynamic mapping, right? So what does it mean? When the next email comes, that email will be coming from someone else. It will have some different content, right? And then GPT is going to automatically capture the email content of that particular second email, not the first one. So we are not doing anything hard coded over here. It's all dynamic mapping that coming from the Gmail module. So whenever something new comes in, it's going to simply refer that from the first module. See, so how easy it is. We just configured a prompt. We just configured all the inputs over here. Now we can add second message over here, and here I can define some sort of instruction to the system. This is slightly, I would say, technical, but I'll show you what difference it makes. Okay, or let me do one thing. Let's just run it for now. Is there anything we're missing on this? No, perfect. So if I just run this for now over here, see what happens. It gave me a response. It says category required reply. Why? Because this email was particularly related to some sort of automation service inquiry. And someone asked me, hi, my name is Andrew, and I'm looking for service automation for my hospital business. So here you can see. Now, this system is like, yeah, reply required. Now I can add something more. I can also ask GPT to give a reason for like why it categorized into reply required. It can be not required as well. So let me ask it again. Also, give me the reason why you categorize something, right? And if I run it again, it's going to give me a reason as well. So let's check what happens. Perfect, we are here. So see here, now it says category, reply required. And it says reason, the email is from an individual expressing genuine interest or exploring business automation solution for their hospital business. Andrew is the sender of email looking for more information about gross tax and wanted to schedule a meeting. Right. So this is how the GPT is handling, and it got us both the things, category and the reason. Now what happens? See, if I'm going to handle this particular output, let's build the other module over here, which says Gmail, and I'll say create a draft. So I just came here, I simply said create a draft. I used my own connection over here as well, the previous connection. Here I'm going to use the folder where I want to create draft. So it's going to be the draft folder. So I just went into drafts, or maybe this one is a draft. Okay, perfect. And then I can add a recipient. Who's the recipient? So the sender of the previous email is going to be the recipient of my email. So sender was, let's say, admin gross tax. I can simply drag and drop the sender email over here. So whoever is the sender of this particular one is going to be recipient of my reply, right? Then I have a subject line. So I can simply say RE reply, and then I can add the subject line over here. So it can map into the same thread of the main email, of the original email. And then here it asks me the content. So when I said like yes, reply is required, I took a root and I added a module called like create a draft, right? Now I need a content. So where the content is come from? So over here, we can add another GPT module. I just said add a module, go for OpenAI, create a completion, and then I can write another prompt where I say, read this email and create a professional, good looking reply for that particular mail. So simply go for again ChatGPT 4o system. That's the model I generally use. And I can simply go for this stuff where it says generate reply. I'll take a prompt from here. Guys, just give me 1 sec. Okay, perfect. So here I written a complete prompt for the reply generation. So I said, you are an intelligent email assistant that craft professional responses. Given the email, check if the email is important or marketing email and so on. And here I asked him to give it a response. Now, what is the response? So here I say like use the proper HTML formatting, because if you're going to just put the normal text, everything will be just combined together. So maybe it's not multiple lines, just single line, everything will be collate. So I said go for a proper formatting using HTML format, maintain a professional friendly tone, address all the key important point from the original email and so on. Tone guidelines also here, response format and all. So what I did, I asked it to give it a proper response as per my prompt. This can be your prompt. You can write something else. You can ask GPT to create a prompt for yourself. That's all good. So let me take this whole thing. And as an input, I given it the recipient name, who's going to, who sent me that email, who's going to receive it again, subject line of the email, and the email content. Now let's simply copy this. I can't obviously type it the whole thing. So let's go here. I simply say it's an assistant role. And I have put in everything over here. I just had to change some mappings over here. So, okay, all these are coming from first module, so that's fine. So I added all of these things just to give GPT a response content, like the base content, right? Now, what happens is I said, okay, and whatever output comes from here is going to be mapped into the content of this particular one. So result of this particular GPT will come and added over here into this one. So this is how a easy automation can be built. So I wanted to watch emails, categorize it, whether the reply is required or not. I create a response for that particular message if reply required, and then I can simply add it as a draft. Now, you may wonder like GPT is saying us reply required. If it says reply not required, what happens? Like where we have any validation. So within make.com, between each of these modules, there is something called like these 3 dots. When you click on them, you can apply certain filter conditions based upon any previous data, right? So for example, if I come here and I say the result of this particular GPT contains reply required, then only it should move on this particular route, right? Or then only it should move forward. Otherwise, just get stuck here itself. So that's how we can have intelligent filters available here, conditions, rules, logics, or something, which can help us to prevent anything which is not required should not go beyond that point, right? So if I run it now, let's see what happens. I'll show you something, one more, a little technical point. So here, see here, it says reply not required, and reason primarily the payment summary of a ride taken on Rapido, transactional summary, you should not reply to this particular message. So my reply is not going to create it, and I'll save on the GPT credit as well as this will just simply not go into draft. But what if like I wanted to even check if this is not required to reply, can we park it into a other folder, or can we maybe just move it somewhere else, or maybe for example, classify into a particular folder called reply not required? Then yes, we can do it. So certain make functions can help us to do that. If you come here on the screen button, it says flow control. Make has given many good functionalities, good modules within their own environment, where we can either handle any type of data structure. It can be iteration of data. It can be array aggregation. These are slightly complex methods, but for now, we are just going to use something called router. Now, router can help us to route certain flow, certain sequence based on conditions. So for example, if I disconnect it from here, this module, I say I wanted to route this particular thing based on conditions. So let's say I added the router in middle of this whole thing, and it says if this condition fulfilled, result contains reply required, then it should go here. Else, when I come on this router module, click on plus, it simply add another route over here, right? And I can put a condition like this. So let's say the opposite condition, result contains, I'll say case insensitive, reply not required. If the particular GPT assessment says reply not required, then it should move over here. Now, what to do if reply not required? Then I wanted to say like, okay, let's go to Gmail and check if there is a good functionality or good thing available. Either I can delete that email, but I don't want to delete all the emails, right? So I have an option. If reply not required, I can delete that if it's a marketing email or something. Else, I can also modify the email label, right? So let's explore this one. What is that? Modify email label. Simply go here and let's check. Perfect. So it is asking what label you wanted to apply. Generally, if you go into your Gmail mailbox, you see here, primarily there are emails applied. It's called important email or inbox. If I just open this one, you see here, this is applied with inbox label. And because of this label, it appears inside your inbox. If I remove this label and I may add something else, it's going to appear on some other mailbox altogether over here. It can be spam. It can be, let's say if I go over here on spam, click on this, you see here, the label is applied as spam, right? If I just remove it, not a spam, it moved to my mailbox, main email box. So that's how it works. Like Gmail mails are generally specified with the labels. So what I wanted to do, if my email is going to go on this route, then I wanted to add a label which is called reply not required. And automatically this will classify into this particular folder. So I already have, let's say, these many emails, and any email that comes in, which will be classified over here. But to do that, which email I wanted to mark it as not reply not required, the particular level. So over here, I wanted to map the Gmail message ID, right? So accordingly, it can recognize which email message I wanted to mark this particular level. So once you click here, you again see this small pop-up available, and all the previous modules are available for the mapping over here. Now, I wanted to choose like Gmail message ID. So let's explore where is the Gmail message ID. Here you see one attribute called Gmail message ID. I can simply drag drop here, and whatever email which classify as not required will be taken up and will be applied this label. This is again a fully dynamic mapping, right? So you don't have to do anything. Once you set it up, it's going to work all the time. So that's it. I click save and that's done. Perfect. Now it's high time. Let's run this again and let's see what happens. So I again will go ahead and choose a particular email to start with. Indigo, okay, Hostinger. Let's say there is an email come from Hostinger, right? Let's click on this. Let's move and check what happens here. So it got the Hostinger email over here. GPT will now analyze whether that email is actually required to reply or not. Yes, it says it requires reply. It says Hostinger notify recipient that their domain is going to expire in 7 days. This is a crucial information because the domain is not renewed in time and so on, loss of ownership and everything. Let's go and check what reply it created. So let's go to this one. Let's go to draft. Perfect. Over here. Just avoid this part. Actually, this comes with JSON structure. But yeah, see here. So the reply is automatically created. It says, hi, Hostinger. Thank you for reaching out, reminding that my domain is going not renewed or something. I appreciate your notification. Avoid any fees and so on. If I have any question, I'll get back to you. So now it depends upon how you configure the prompt, but you can see this email reply is automatically created based upon this particular notification come from Hostinger. So see how easy is that to build automation. It got everything, my old signature, all these stuff, everything comes straight up right here itself. And if I turn it on, then automatically it will keep on watching all the emails and will create replies or either mark them into this particular not reply part. So one last thing I would like to cover on this particular stuff is the scheduling. See, now triggers are of two types within Make.com. So one is called the schedule trigger. Schedule trigger is basically where I can define the time they should trigger every 15 minutes, every 10 minutes, or every day at a certain point of time. So those are called schedule triggers. I can schedule them on a specific time. Second is called instant trigger or webhook based trigger. That's a little more complex thing. So webhook based or instant trigger is as soon as the event happens on the particular app, that will immediately notify on the scenario and the scenario will run without setting up any time. So for now, we have just set up on this entire thing on schedule trigger, where you see it says at regular intervals every 15 minutes. So I can, let's say, go for every 60 minutes or maybe every 600 minutes. I just want to run the scenario every 10 hours or so. So I can have scheduling like this. Or if I wanted to run every day, I can define certain time. Let's say currently it's 5:40. I can set it, let's say 10 a.m. every day. It can simply go for 10, 12, whatever time I set. So let's say 12 a.m., for example, every day. And time zone by default is taking Asia Kolkata time. Format is this one. So remember, we selected our country as India, and that's how the time zone comes here as Asia Kolkata. If I would have selected Germany, it would have come like Berlin or something, right? So I can define day as well. I can also define which particular days of the week I want to run it. So for example, if I just want to send or reply all the emails only for the working days in a week, Monday to Friday, I can simply choose them, leave it Sunday. So Saturday, Sundays, the scenario will not work. I can also set up a time. So it can be, let's say, 5 a.m. every day and so on. I can also choose days of month. So for example, if you do not want to process any emails or any scenario on last 3 days, you can choose like this, right? Or if you wanted to run this entire automation scenario on a specific day, that also you can choose. So for example, 1st of Jan only, or maybe Jan and Feb only first day of the month, then you can choose like this, right? And these kind of multiple combinations can be created. Even if you wanted to go for even more advancement, you can define like from which time to which time the scenario should work. So let's say your office time is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So you can just choose from this time part, not the whole thing, but this 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. and so on, right? So this kind of time can also be taken up. So yeah, many scheduling options are available inside make.com, where you can choose the scheduling as per your requirement. So I hope you found this entire thing, how this work, how easy is it to build the entire workflow in a very seamless way. This is just a demonstration of basic thing. We can do many more advancement on top of the automation workflows. So this is part 1. I'm open for any questions for now. You can quickly put on chat. In case if you want a break, we can take like up to 5 minutes of break for now. And we are going to build the second scenario, which is going to generate content and post it on all the social media channels. Open for questions. You can go a little slow. Great. You guys are liking it. Amazing. Goldmine. Mind-blowing. Amazing. Wow. Super. Any questions? No offense to anybody. I'm non-tech guy. Many things went over my head. Okay. We'll have some solution with that as well. You'll have to watch this video 2-3 times. Available similar to, yeah, there are a couple of things available on YouTube as well, but if we can guide you better on this. Single open API use instead of 2. Actually, we use 2 API modules, open API modules, because first is to assess whether this email reply is required or not. And second is to create the reply itself. So once it moves to this route, yeah, we can do it. Not a big deal. Like we can handle both of the things together over here, but that would have become more complex for most of the people to even understand. So that's why I marked it separate. But yeah, we can do both of these things together as well. So we ask if GPT classify this email as relevant, then generate reply also along with this. And if it says not relevant, then don't generate reply, just generate the reason and response it. So yeah, that could have done. To save operations, yeah, I already replied that. Lakshya, you're 18-year student. We'll come on that. You wanted to build some career on mechanical engineering. Okay, that's fine. AI skills and over maths generic message. How to create API keys? Perfect. I'll quickly show you that. Vaibhav already did show you that earlier, but let's do it again. So if you go to OpenAPI, click on products, and then you will see something called API login. Once you go here, then you will land into this kind of a page. Simply click on either dashboard or settings. On dashboard, you will see this is called API key. Now, I told you many software providers give you or charge you for API usage, because let's say, for example, this GPT, they charge you for API usage. So first of all, you should have enough balance or enough amount already loaded, or as per their billing method, you should have a payment method set up. Once you are done with that, you can simply go and click on API keys, click on create a new secret key, put this key name, I'll say test, and then simply create a secret key. So over here, you will see this entire API key. I can simply copy, go here on make.com. If I wanted to go to this GPT, add connection, and simply paste the API key over here. Once you click save, it's going to add that connection on your account on your behalf. So yeah, that's the quick method. I can't type. Great, awesome, loved it, amazing. Make one for data scraping one. I can't do right now, but I'll show you how to do the data scraping. There are many tools available. I'll remember that. No worries. How to make it work on WhatsApp? Perfect. Good question. I'll show you something here. And see how flexible it is. I can move this entire scenario somewhere, like how you do with flowcharts or some other tools. And I simply double click over here. I'll say type in WhatsApp. And this is one of the main reason why we use Make in these entire session, right? So what's the message? What's the Business Cloud? Sorry, this one. Now, one thing very important, in case of WhatsApp, this is not the WhatsApp which you use on your mobile phone or as an app. This is WhatsApp Business Cloud, right? So they have a separate interface. They have a separate API structure altogether. Now, what all things you can do with this WhatsApp API? So primarily you can watch all the incoming messages. This is instant trigger. You can see here, instant asset trigger. As soon as any new message arrives, it can get that message data inside make.com. It can do any other thing as per your requirement. So let's say if you wanted to reply that message using ChatGPT, AI, or classify that message or something, you can do that. Guys, give me 1 sec. Okay. Even on top of that, you can also do send reply, template message, upload media. Many things can be done. Let's take another question. Now there's a whole method of authenticating WhatsApp over here. So let's go for this. If you, let's say, click on send message, simply add this module and click on this online help talk. And once you're here, you can see WhatsApp Business Cloud, how to connect. So there is a complete video given as well as all the steps with the screenshots given over here. So how you can connect your official WhatsApp with the make.com. Just follow through this and you will be good to go. What else we have? Can we look into vendor's website, give particular data to our email? Not sure what is that, but I think you can do if they have APIs available. Amazing. That's great. Thank you guys. Corporate email. Okay, perfect. One important thing. So whatever access we have set up so far, see, when you work with any API or any of the system integration accesses, whatever, if you are using your own account, that becomes really easy because you are the owner of this whole account, right? And you have all the access, authenticate, integrate, and generate API keys. What if you are part of an organization? Then in that case, you may not be able to authenticate your can't generate API key because, sorry guys, because you may not have enough accesses available. So give me one. I think we can take 5 minutes break. I'm having some issues with my.
Yes, Manish, we can take a quick break. That's fine.
Okay, perfect. So sorry guys. Sorry for that. Okay, so most of time you may not be the administrator or the super admin or kind of having access or rights to like get API key or authorize your organization information to some other platform. In that case, you will not be able to set up connections to make. You'll have to ask permission from your system administrator, technical person, and someone else, right? So involve those people if you are part of an organization. How to use WhatsApp message, please. I already shown you WhatsApp module as such. Webhook session for building custom GPT. Welcome to this. API key ChatGPT is free. They're not free actually. You'll have to charge some balance. You'll have to put some money onto your ChatGPT. Please explain integration. Gmail again, error showing. Okay, I told you earlier. If you're using Gmail personal account, in that case, you'll have to follow a complete process, which is given here on the online help. Click on this one. It's going to open a step-by-step document with everything. I think they also have a video as well. This whole thing you have to follow through. And that's how you can enable the Gmail API for your personal account. In case if you have a G Suite account, then you don't have to follow all these things. Simply go here, click on add connection, click on sign in with Google, and your connection will be done. So Google, I would say, demote or like discourage the personal Gmail account API usage, because like they're not getting any money for that, right? So just follow through this whole method which Make has defined, and you can connect your personal Gmail as well. Guys, I had 99 message modes to read. Work with IMDb, Wikipedia. Yes, if they have APIs, it can do. API key, what is exactly ACID means? Okay, perfect. I shown you earlier as well. So ACID is like, these are primary triggers. So trigger is basically when you have these trigger, watch emails. So this is a default system or schedule based trigger. You can schedule it at a particular time interval or a particular date and time as well. In case if you go for, let's say, Google Sheet, for example, here you see either ACID trigger, which can trigger the whole workflow, as well as you have instant trigger, which are webhook based trigger. So they don't have to, or they don't require to schedule as such. So if I select this one, if I move cursor over here, let's say take a connection for now, click OK. Now, as soon as I do, it says scenario run is going to change to immediately. So as soon as it gets any trigger, it will not wait for it. It's going to run immediately. So these are two type of trigger, which can either be webhook based or time based. Primarily, I would recommend you to use a time based trigger for most of your workflows, so you can have better control. Else, like instant triggers are not that predicted, and they are just working on some external events. What are the routers help in? So routers are basically, if you wanted to route your workflow on a particular condition, I said like, if this workflow or this automation require email reply, then it's going to go on this particular route. If not, it's going to do other action, modify the email label. So accordingly, router can help you to, like, how you make decision in your normal work day in any process. You say like, if I do this work, I have to follow these steps. If not, I have to follow these steps, right? So method one, method two. Same way, router can help us to navigate to a particular sequence of actions based upon the condition. So routers are primarily used for conditional stuff altogether. Then we have various process automated, like Word files check for relevance. Yes, that can be done. There are many AIs available. We just spoke about ChatGPT. I'll just show you something. We have Cloud AI as well, Anthropic Cloud, which we discussed earlier also. We have Relevance AI available over here. Many AIs are available. So you can just type in your name and you can find it. Deep AI, Jasper AI, Norms AI, and so on. Just type your preferred app name and you will see that should be available. Like there are more than 2,000 apps they already have available over here. Can you provide any resource to practice this? Yeah, will do. Overwhelming first time. Great, guys. That's why I said like put these 3 hours. It's going to give you 300 hours of time saving. Commenting on LinkedIn post. Let me check commenting is available or not. Just go for LinkedIn module. We'll anyways going to do this in the next session at like after 5 minutes. So LinkedIn has many modules available over here. It says user text post, organization post, comment. I'm not sure if it has already. No, commenting is not available over here. But I think some other solutions which are built by some companies provide LinkedIn API extensions, and they have the comment facility as well. So you can do, I think. Integrate ChatGPT, quite not get. Okay, connection, email, recording of the session, MS Outlook. We discussed many of these things already. Okay, guys, fine. I think the questions are repeated only. Group emails, yes, you can also integrate group emails. Security aspect of make.com to read Gmail permission content. Yes, that's important. See, once you're working with any automation, you may want like what kind of information this make.com will keep. Like, is it going to read all my emails, or will it store this data somewhere? What is the data security aspect? I already told you they follow the best standards of data security in the world. So they have HIPAA compliance, which is primarily dealing with medical records of patients. Second is about GDPR, which is personal information and the organizational information. So data security are very essential stuff while we are working with them. And these platforms are already complied with it. Now, as I said, like these platforms are primarily emerged into countries like USA, Europe, which already have stringent data law or data security aspect, like more than our country, India or Asian countries. So you should not worry about data security because these are already used by millions of organizations. Government has good watch on that, and they are already covered up everything within data security aspect. So yeah, nothing to worry about the data leakage or some sort of hacking or something. That doesn't happen on these platforms. Now, how long they hold your data or what kind of data they hold. So first of all, whatever comes inside Make, you see, if I fetch this particular email, any data which is part of a workflow, a scenario, will be holded by make.com to transition it, because Make has to work with this content, right? To the sender, with the content, with the HTML content, with the attachment, and so on. So it has to get the data inside Make environment. Same way for GPT, it's sending the data to GPT. GPT will give some response, and then Make is going to handle it with further more modules. So Make hold your data, whatever is processed, not your entire Gmail data. So Make is not going to scrap your Gmail like 50,000 emails and will keep it somewhere. No, it just hold data, whatever used inside a workflow. Second thing, Make does not keep data more than 7 days on any free plan and more than 30 days on any paid plan. After 30 days, anyways, your data will be scrapped or deleted from the Make platform itself. So no worries about the data security at all. They're not going to hold any or larger amount of data. Whatever run through will be holded by them. And anyways, as I said, like they're following data security structure or important things. So nothing to worry at all. Can we connect with Google API? We'll show you in a bit. Again, my chat is limited host. Everyone, I'm not sure what is that. Creating APIs is free. It's just repeating again. Okay, fine. I think the questions are repeating now. I took a couple of important ones. I think mostly are relevant, related to API key, LinkedIn courses, LinkedIn posting. We are going to come on that part as well. Fine, guys. So yeah, this is the first part of automation that we have built. Now, let's go to the second one, which is about creating a system that can generate content and that can also post content on our behalf. So now we're going to just do the same scenario, whatever I shown you at the start, and we'll build like something from scratch. See, remember the pre-automation checklist, which I mentioned you earlier? That is very important, or even the planning is very important, because everyone, either it's a person or an organization, has its own way of working. So for example, I generate content in a certain way. I handle that content. Maybe I have certain process to review it and then publish it outside. If you're if you're doing the same process, you may want, like, I don't want to review the GPT content. It can directly go to these social media platforms, right? So every organization, every person can have a different way of working as per their own style or as per their own methods. So it's very important to define the whole structure of the process. What should happen at the step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then we should touch the automation itself. So let's go with the same methodology. Now, this was the earlier sheet which we created. Now we're going to create it from scratch again. So first of all, over here, my way is I'm going to give an idea statement, some sort of a content requirement statement to AI, and AI should generate multiple versions of content based upon each of the platform where I'm going to post it. So my first input I wanted to put in this particular Google sheet is, like, let's say, content idea, right? This is my first column where I'm going to enter everything. Second, I want to generate content for multiple platforms. So a separate piece of content for Facebook, a separate content for LinkedIn, separate content for Instagram. Now, someone would want, I just want to generate a single piece of content, put the same content everywhere. That's also fine. It's your way of working, right? So I'll say Facebook content. My requirement is I wanted to keep a separate content for each of them. So Facebook content, Instagram content. So whenever I give this whole post, this whole idea, I want three type of contents available or should come out from the system, right? So something like this, I'll say LinkedIn content. Now these are my 3 requirements. Then I also want AI to generate some sort of image, or I may not want it, right? But if the image is generated, I want the URL should be here, so I can review it before the system post it. So I say image URL, right? Or link, whatever you type, right? Now, once this part is done, I want a control, like whatever I put here, I don't want this to immediately go out. Let's say I'm planning content for the whole month, 1 whole month, or maybe 6-month planning. I'm putting 6-month month of content over here. Let's say 100 different ideas. I don't want all of them to go immediately out because I may not have GPT credits. I don't want to put everything together on one single day. Even I don't want to generate it. So I want some sort of a control. So I'll say there is a control column. The control column is going to be some options. When I say, okay, so let's put something. I am going to give it a drop down over here. This drop down will have certain things. So first of all, I'll say generate social post. Social content, sorry. Right. So generate the social content, or let's say the post content, for example. This is my first thing, first ask from this particular program. Then secondly, once the content is generated, they should automatically change to content generated. This is going to be my status change when the content is generated. Then I wanted to ask it when I mark it as post this content. So this is going to be my trigger, or whenever, whatever particular lines I select post content. And then when the content is posted, I'll say posting done. So these are 4 different status that I wanted to mark when I work with this entire system, right? So that's done. Now I have a good control over here. So this is my control on the entire posting part. Then I also want the last thing. I wanted to know when this post was created, because I may not know, like after 1 month or 2 months, I'll forget like when this particular post was created, right? So I wanted a posting date and time tracking as well. Now, again, I'm repeating, this whole thing can be done as per your own requirement, right? So it's just my thought process for now. I'll just formatted everything into a table structure. So this looks good. And everything is here. Perfect. Now, let's put one of the content idea. So over here, I say, I wanted to make an announcement, or maybe a post, for example, that I learned a new skill from Growth School, right? So this is my post idea that I wanted to do. So that's the first stuff. Here I'm going to give it, and let's make it some, okay, attainable. Perfect. Now, this whole thing is done. I want AI to do all these 3 content generation, AI to do image generation. I'll have a controls, and I wanted the posting date time. So this is how I'm going to operate this particular system or the process. Now let's get into the make.com and let's see how we are going to build the scenario. So first of all, we have this blank scenario available. I'll say social media content and post generator. This is my scenario name, right? This is called scenario or automation like workflow. First of all, I will start my automation or my entire workflow when I add something into a Google Sheet, right? So my first module, the data source, is going to be Google Sheet. So let's click on this and let's search for Google Sheet, or we already see it here. So either you can type in Google Sheets or you can see it if you can just take it up. Now, there are a couple of things available. Remember, I told you there's a trigger point available for each module, right? So over here within Google Sheet, it says triggers when a new raw is added. Watch new raws. So for example, over here, you see, I added this new line. So as soon as I add more lines, the scenario is eligible to trigger. So it's going to trigger based upon as soon as I add something. But this trigger is not relevant for me. Why not? Because as I said, I may want to park my 6-month content ideas over here. So all of those lines will be immediately loaded, and then everything will become a trigger inside my make.com Google Sheet module watch row. If I'm going to run that scenario, maybe later in the time, this trigger will go off. Like, let's say if I added something here now, and if I run it, watch new raw is going to take that particular line and run it now itself. But if the time passes, or if the trigger is already used sometime, then it's not going to trigger again in the future, right? So like watch new raw is not a relevant module for me because I don't want to process it now itself. As soon as the raw is added, I don't want to process it. So what is relevant for me? Let's go again with the Google Sheet. And there is something called search raw, right? So this is a very good judgment point. And maybe I think there is more technicality and the application of mind involves here. You should, as I said, like you should build a workflow. You should choose the right modules, and then you should plan it properly. Like what is relevant for you, what is not, and what is going to work in your case, right? So for example, this is the live example over here. So in this case, we are not going for a trigger, but instead we are going for an action, something called search raw. Now, What search raw does, it says return result matching the given criteria, because I don't want to depend upon the Google Sheet itself. Like as soon as I add a line, it should trigger something. I have my own control over here. What control? Like I can say I park this idea. I can park like 10 more such ideas. And I'll say they should trigger only when I do generate post content. Right. So whatever line classify or qualify this particular condition, say generate post content, that should only be taken care inside the automation. Yeah. So the first point is, let's go with search raw, and it should get only lines which has generate post content. Now, as soon as I added this Google Sheet module, you see here again, every module will require connection. So it comes here, connection, click add connection. Let me show you. This is pretty straight. So a little strange thing, I would say. Google has put in restriction on Gmail API. It has a longer way. But in case of Google Sheets, Google Drive, other modules, it does not have that kind of restriction. So here in case of Google Sheets, let me add some connection right in front of you. Let's say ICFF Jan, Manish, admin, GrowStacks, for example. This connection I want to add, I can simply click on sign in with Google. Is going to open this kind of a pop-up, and over here it'll ask me which account you wanted to authorize. I'll say admin at GrowStacks. So in this case, I don't want to, or I don't have to put any API key. It's pretty straight up. I can simply sign in with Google, and it can authorize, auto-generate the API key, and automatically put inside the make.com. So the life become really easy in this case, right? So I simply say continue. Here it says this will allow Make to edit, delete, create all your Google Drive file. Obviously, it requires all these things as well as spreadsheet to play with, edit, create, delete, and click allow. That's it. Now, Make can work with my Google Drive directly. So as soon as I add this connection, it says 5th Jan, Manish added this connection. Now it's time to select the spreadsheet. So which spreadsheet I wanted to work with. Even before that, I can also choose like, do I want to work with a spreadsheet in my own drive or maybe some shared drive, right? And then I can go with the spreadsheet because my Google Drive can have maybe hundreds different spreadsheets available. So by default, it lists all of these sheets over here. You see, whatever I have, things are coming up. But what is my sheet name? The sheet name is Master Social Media Automation. So let's go here. I'll say Master Social Media Automation. Perfect. So as soon as I search it, I got this particular sheet right here. Then I can simply go for, okay. Now, another example of data structuring. See here. If I get into this kind of a Google Sheet, Master Social Media Automation, Content and Posting. Now this is a whole spreadsheet access which I got. But within the sheet, I can have multiple subsheets over here. So let's say there's a sheet called Tracker. There's a sheet called Sheet 11. Let me change this name. I'll say Content Master. So this is my sheet name over here. And then obviously each of the sheets may have multiple lines, different kind of content structure and on. So I will have to select the specific sheet which I wanted to work with. So once I selected my spreadsheet ID, I want to select the sheet name and let's refresh it. It's going to show you Content Master. So this is the sheet which I wanted to work with now. Perfect. And over here, either I can apply a filter or not. That's fine. I can set a limit as well. Let me click OK for now. Okay, let's open this module. Click OK again. And if I just run it once for now, there is no condition, no limitation as such. So it got all of these line items from Google Sheet out here inside this. So see here, all of the columns are listed. So column A, wherever the data is available, it got the column A. I want to create the post announcement that says I learned a new skill at Grow School, right? It has the row number, it has the spreadsheet ID, sheet number, and so on. Okay. So all of my things are coming up here because I have all of these 11, 12 lines available inside Google Sheet. And this is how the data structure comes in. Now, this data can be mapped in any of the subsequent modules. Okay, so what I want to do next is I want to put this data inside ChatGPT as I did earlier. So let's go for ChatGPT, OpenAI. We'll go for create a completion again. And this time I'll give it a prompt that I want to write a good content structure based on the idea input I did. So let's go with this. Perfect. Model I can select same, GPT-4o mini system model. So this is the one. And let's take the prompt from my previous scenario itself so we can save time. Okay, it's coming in. Masterclass. Now, over here, this is a long prompt I have written based on multiple conditions like it should follow through each of the platform guideline based upon Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, as well as it should have some sort of tone. The tag should come in, any keyword should be taken care. So see here, I have written a complete prompt over here. It says, you're a professional social media content writer specialized into platform optimized post for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I have provided you a content topic idea and so on. For Facebook, I want 1 to 2 lines of topic, maximum 150 words. Instagram, maximum 100 words. And for LinkedIn, I want a lengthy post in a professional tone up to 200 words. And then I wanted output in a certain structure, a JSON structure, Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn. I also defined guideline over here. So this is how things are working, right? Let's take this entire thing over here back into my scenario. So simply add this, click on add, assistant role is fine. Let's go for, I pasted the whole prompt over here. Now, this system got the whole prompt over here. I'll have to map the content as well. So I said here, let's go for another assistant role. I can either map content directly inside the first prompt, or I can have a second prompt separately like this. And I said main idea content form is available here. And I can simply use this column A mapped into this module. So now GPT knows there is a full length prompt over here, as well as the content idea, which is coming from this Google Sheet. As I said, it's really easy to plug and play. So when I remove it, let's just drag it again, drag and drop. That's it. I do not want to provide any sort of token limitation because since I'm generating post for 3 different platforms, so that's fine. And there are a couple of advanced settings given. So I wanted to get this output into a JSON format. So because I am getting post or content for 3 different platforms, I wanted to have them mappable. So Facebook post content can be mapped to column C, column D, and column E. So accordingly, I wanted to have JSON response, and the parse JSON is also enabled. Let's give it a try for now. And let me remove everything from here. See, there are no conditions in this scenario. Nothing is like restricted as such. So if I run it now, I have only one single post idea over there, which comes into this particular row number 2. And content is generated. Perfect. Let's see. So now this result has all these content comes out. It says Facebook post content, exciting news, friends. I learned what I completed this course and so on. Same way Instagram post, same way LinkedIn post. So this is how easy it is to like define a prompt, define the input from Google Sheet, and it's giving us the content. We can also play with temperature, with these kind of different creativity stuff within ChatGPT. That's all part of like your practice. But for now, I'll just keep it like this. Then I wanted to generate an image as well. So here I'll say generate image. This is a DALL-E system from ChatGPT. And here I can choose the model. So I'll go for latest model, DALL-E 3. Now, here in the prompt, it says text description of the image to generate. What kind of image I want to generate? So I have 2 options. Once I click on, I can add any of these references for image generation. So either I can go and add directly my main content idea over here, which is a basic idea. So I can drag drop and this is done. Or I can also map any of the GPT generated content because that is more curated content based upon my own idea. So let's say Facebook post content, I can simply drag drop and that is done. So now whatever content generated for the Facebook post can be taken up inside this DALL-E model to generate the relevant image. Right? So I just referred the Facebook stuff. Sorry. Give me just 1 second.
While Manish is quickly back, what we'll do is in a very short while, we'll take a very short break. And then, we'll take the question answer as well. So if you need break, just wait for some time and we'll take it. Yes. Go
Sure. Om, I'm back. So I would not prefer to take a break for now because we have limited time and I just wanted to show the entire
After some time. Yeah. I was just sharing once we are done with this, we'll take one. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. So guys, just put your full attention. It is getting a little complicated, but just try to understand this. So over here, we have this GPT stuff to generate content, to generate image as well. And now finally, once the content is generated, I wanted to update the content into the same Google line over here in the sheet, right? So when I say I have given an idea, I wanted to have this content post as well over here, as well the image URL. So now I simply add another module over here, which says Google Sheets. And then within Google Sheet, I have something called update a raw. So you see, add a raw, bulk update, search raw, all of these different actions are available. Among them, I wanted to choose update a raw, the raw which I got content from the starting point, right? Now I have to choose something here. Where is the spreadsheet ID, which sheet I wanted to update. So let's go with this. I'll say I have a folder called Growth School. Then I have a folder or maybe directly sheet over there. Automation Master. Perfect. And let's see. Perfect. So this is my sheet called Master Social Media Automation Content and Posting. Perfect. So I got this sheet or the entire folder selection until I got my sheet, right? Now over here, it says which sheet you wanted to update. So I said, I wanted to update the content master. Now it's asking what raw you want to update. Obviously, this is a tricky thing. Now, which raw I wanted to update. I don't like this raw may become raw number 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. It's fully dynamic. So what I said over here, I can do mapping from the first module. So whatever raw number comes here, you see here, the raw number comes as raw number 2. If I would be working on raw number 3, it will say raw number 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So I'll simply dynamically map this particular raw in the last module. So let's say click here. As soon as you click, all the previous module output mapping comes here. And I have this first model available, this search raw. Simply drag and drop raw number, right? That's it. So now whenever the content is generated, it's going to put that whole generated content into this raw number 2, or it can be raw number 3, 4, 5, as per the like whatever comes from the first module. Now, which column I wanted to update, right? That's important. So for example, let me just close it. Once I click, I see all of these column names also comes here. So the column 1 is called content idea. Column 2 is called Facebook. 3 is Instagram, LinkedIn, and so on. So once I don't want to update content idea, it's already there. I have put in there. So I wanted to update the Facebook content, which is generated by GPT. So here you see, there is a whole output comes in from the result of GPT number 2 module, right? This one. So I simply go and drag drop Facebook content over here. Instagram, I can drag drop Instagram over here. LinkedIn, it's again as simple as that. In case of image, this is the image URL in column E. So you see here, we have added the third module, which is generate an image, which gives us this output called data and URL. I simply drag drop the URL over here. So that easy it is to just map your content from Google or from Google Sheet to GPTs and GPTs to back into Google Sheet. Now, I also want to change my control point to back to says, okay, let's go here. Once the content is generated, it should say content generated. So I simply say content generated, right? Posting we're not doing, so we'll just keep it blank on this particular route, right? Now you see how easy it is. We created our first flow without any condition at this point. So let me just remove this part as well. If I run it now, let's see the magic. So it got the first line from the first module, which is row number 2. I want to create an announcement post. It got the content generated for these 3 different platforms. Now it is generating the image with generate image DALL-E model. Should take some time. And then finally, it's going to update the whole thing into update a raw module. Perfect. See, the image is also generated with the Facebook post stuff. And we got the URL as well over here. And then finally, we have things updated. Let's go back. Perfect. See here. So when we started, nothing was there. Now all 3 post content is here, as well as the image link. Let's click and open the image. How that look like? Countless earning, or continuous learning, sorry. And then, yeah, something like this. So again, depend upon the prompt. I did not give any structured prompt at this point. Let me show you how to give a structured prompt as well. Now let's go. I already have a prompt over here. So I'll show you. So this is the prompt what I did. I wanted a square image 1080 by 1080 pixels for the social media with the following specification. And the style requirement can be like this. So minimalistic is design and so on. So before I added any content for the image, I added the entire guideline as well. I can simply copy paste this entire guideline over here as well. And this will make my whole thing more robust, right? So image will be generated in more structured way. Fine. So main idea to generate the image, that also I can simply put in. So see how easy it is to work with AI inside automations. Now, one important thing, we haven't applied any filters, any conditions over here, any control point. So what I wanted to do, if this part is says generate post content, then only it should go on this particular route, because we have two actions combined over here, post content as well. So what I wanted to do is I can simply add a router, simply right click on this, and there is an option called add a router. Add it. And over here, I can put a condition. Remember, we have conditions, or we have logics we can build here. So that condition comes from column F. So let's select the column F value, and okay, perfect. It's a control, right? And now this route should be followed only when it says generate post content. So I simply said generate post content. So I said if column F value is equal to generate post content, then only it should go on this particular route. If it is not, then what? So let's do it here. I added another route. And other case, I want to post this content. So the second route I want to build is if the column F control value says it should be post this content, then it should go on this particular route, right? So my F control value is equal to post content, then we should move on this. Now, what to do? Like why we are moving here and what is going to happen? So if we wanted to post content, where we want to post content, first of all, so we have three different platforms selected: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. That's where we are going to post this content. So let's simply click here and let's add one by one each of them. So first of all, Facebook. Now, Facebook has multiple options given over here. So we can work with pages, we can work with lead ads, insights, messenger, and so on. But again, as I said, platforms have different strategies or different way of allowing API access. So in this case, Facebook does not allow API to control your personal Facebook account. It generally has Facebook pages or the business accounts. So you don't see any, let's say, personal stuff over here. You can simply see the pages option. So click on pages. And over here, you can choose create a post with photos, multiple photos, create, let's say, a text post itself, some reaction, some sort of update, delete, like, unlike, list videos, create video post, and so on. So multiple things are there. What I wanted, let's simply go with create a post with Facebook, right? Now, okay, perfect. The connection is fine. As soon as we do, we'll have to add a connection. If you're new, you'll have to add a connection. So simply click on add. Here also, again, Facebook also allow you directly sign in with Facebook. So as soon as you have a connection name given here, simply click on save. It's going to open a pop-up like this. And you can simply continue. So I said I continue. It's going to ask me what all pages I wanted to give access to Facebook. So I can have multiple pages. I can just choose among them. I can also have Instagram account. I can choose among them as well. So currently my connection was already done. Now it's again a new connection. I just used my previous one. I say here, GrowStack's business automation page, right? Here I can put a message. So message is going to come from this Facebook content. So I can simply map the content over here. In case of link, this is actually my post link or photo link, the image link. So I can simply drag the image link over here, and that's it, right? So you see here how easy it is to connect the social media module. Now my Facebook post will be created. Second, I'll go for Instagram. So let's go for Instagram. Same way for Instagram as well. It is not available for personal profiles. It's only for the business profile. So you see here Instagram for business. And here also you have create a post, photo post, carousel post, reel post, and so on. So I can simply go for create a photo post. Same connection I choose, which already created over there. It says which page you wanted to post. I said GrowStacks, photo URL. I can simply drag the URL over here, and caption can be my Instagram content, which is I generated from ChatGPT. And that's it. Now I can also add LinkedIn. See how Make is going to work. So it's going to follow each of the steps. When I say post this content, it will go here with the filter. We'll post content over here, first model, second model, third model, and so on. So it works in a sequential manner. Right? Now, when we come to LinkedIn, there is something a good news, I would say. So LinkedIn gives you API access for both company pages as well as your personal account, because LinkedIn's primarily like built on the personal profile itself. LinkedIn pages or company stuff are less recognized, less important as compared to the LinkedIn users. So LinkedIn give API for both user as well as the company page. So here you can directly connect your LinkedIn personal account and do like any sort of posting, any sort of content automation over there. Now, within LinkedIn module, you see here, it says, do you want to work with user group or organization group? So we obviously wanted to go with users at this point, and we can create a user text post, image post, video post, delete, same way organization text, video, image, and so on. So let's go with create a user image post, right? Now, see, something super important. When you are working with, for example, Facebook, if you create a new post, let's say I simply go and click on create a post. Key how to post here, or maybe let's go to Instagram, for example, and I want to create a new post, right? Then Instagram will ask me like upload the image, and I have to upload image somewhere, right? So that image upload part will generally happen from your local system. You have to upload image, and that goes like choose from my, let's say, download folder, C drive, E drive, and so on, and then that image get uploaded. In case of APIs, see, this entire environment does not have that image available at all. That image was actually kept somewhere on this particular URL, right? So some platforms or their APIs can access image from any external URL. So currently this is parked somewhere on the AWS server of OpenAPI. They created the image, right? So they kept it there, and you can access image from there itself. You see, this image was created by OpenAPI, and it is parked on their own servers. In case of some models, let's say Facebook, it says, just give me the image URL. I'll fetch it from there itself. Same way Instagram says, okay, I'll take image, just give me the URL. I'll take it from there. But in case of LinkedIn, LinkedIn says, I want the image to be here uploaded on my, like along with the post. So you see here, it says file name and the data. Now we have to get that image inside make environment to upload it on LinkedIn. It can't access image from URL itself. It's on like their own way to work or with the post and with the system. So what we have to do is, there is a good model available inside Make that is called HTTP get a file. Right. So here we say get a file, download a given file from a given URL. So what is going to do? I can simply map the image URL that come from my Google Sheet here. Click OK. So whenever this model will run, it's going to get the image file, actual file, the how would I say, like image, JPG, PNG, and so on inside Make environment, and it will help that image to upload directly on LinkedIn, right? So if I click here, you see here, it's already added HTTP get a files. File will be taken from here. The title and the content. So I'll simply say LinkedIn content should come from this LinkedIn part. I have more options available. Do I want to make this post publicly available only to my connection, only visible to logged in members? All depends. I said public. It says where the post should go, on mainstream feed or on none of them. That's fine. Even reshare is available or not. I can say either disabled, available, and so on. And that's it. So now my flow is built. And after that, what I want to do? Simple, update a row. So I wanted to update the same row again, saying that the post is done. So here you see, when I say post this content, the final stage will be posting done. So I simply copy this one over here. Put it. I already have everything selected. I don't want to add all these content for now. I copied the module from the top. Just wanted to change this particular status as, sorry guys, posting done. Along with that, I also wanted to do posting date and time. Posting date and time. Yeah. So within Make, we have a complete structure available for time or the, let's say, time and date calculation as well. So I say, just put a variable of now. Now is actually, this is like, what is the date and time now when the scenario runs? So I'll say format date. I wanted to put a date in DD, MM, YY format, hours, column, minutes, AM, PM. So this is the date format I have given over here. And now if I run this whole thing, let's see the magic again. So let's remove it. It was actually says content generated. Now I'm changing it to post this content. And if I run it, let's see what happens. Perfect. So see here, it gone to this particular route because see here, the output comes the content idea, which was already there, Facebook content in column B, column C, column D. In column E, we got the entire image URL, and we have here post this content, right? So post this content is the status. That's why it got qualified over here. It says the control F status was post this content, which is equal to this condition. And the post is created across all of these platforms. And let's see. See here, the control changes to posting done. So now I know the posting is done for this particular one, which is done in 18:28 p.m. at this given time, like 5th of Jan. Let's check out this. So the Amul one we created almost 3 hours back. Perfect. See here. So continuous learning, and this post comes here as well as on the Facebook. Let's just refresh and check what happens. Perfect. The post came here as well 1 minute ago. And let's check on the LinkedIn as well. Not view profile. Let's go for post and activity. Let's refresh. Perfect. See, it comes here as well. Now I would like to get one of the post idea from you guys. Anyone, just put it here. What kind of post you wanted to create? Give me some idea statement. Anyone quickly? AI future. Oh, will AI take away jobs? That will be a sad post. Okay. Why India rocks? Why make in India? Oh, not that good. Growth is cool. Appreciating growth school for session. Okay, not post idea. New Year resolution about AI. Okay, let's put something here. It's New Year resolution about AI. My work is only this much, right? And let me drag it actually. So this thing come everywhere. Let's change it to. So I got the drop down everywhere. Now my job is just to click generate post content and just to run the scenario. The scenario even runs every time. Let's say you can put it a timeline like every 15 minutes, every day at 10 a.m. and so on. I simply click on run this, and now it's going to generate this content over here. So it will do automatically. You don't have to do run again and again. But see here, the content will be generated. It says generate post content. We should see something here very soon. Let's wait. Okay, what's happening here? So the image is generating now actually. Perfect. See here. So we got this post content done. New year, new opportunities. This 2024 actually. I think it recognized the wrong year, but that's fine. We can give, or we can be more specific about 2025. See here, the status got changes, content generated, and I can simply click open this. Let's see what creativity it has done. Wow. So AI resolution, year is 2000, not written properly, but that's fine. So the image can be improved with the prompt. Currently, it's just coming up like this. And let's go for change it to post this content, run the scenario again, and let's see what happens. See, it's gone to the second route. It will automatically change the status. We'll put it here. Let's check out what's happening on our social media channels. Perfect. See here. It came 1 minute ago. It's almost New Year. Are you ready to enhance future this year? Why not make a resolution to dive into the world of AI and so on? There are 2 hashtags as well. Guys, you can do some sort of like, thumbs up, or maybe some comments on this. That will be good. Okay. See here. So this is also came here. Perfectly fine. New Year, new opportunities, 2024. And same way over here also they should come with the LinkedIn. Perfect. Now it came over here as well. See how cool is that and how quickly it is done. Believe me, if I would not demonstrating this whole thing with this step-by-step explanation, I could have done this in less than 15 minutes, this kind of basic automation, because I'm well-versed, and you can also do that. So if you are putting hard effort, you're sincere about like using AI automation in your businesses, you can just like change the entire game. Let me show you one last important thing, how cool and how complex automation can be. See, I'm working with many organizations. Let's just take this one, for example. So this is a company where we automated the whole process of lead allocation and lead management. right? As soon as a lead comes in. And the second process is about product delivery. So I'll just show you something, how complex automation workflows can be. So this company is running with 80,000 operations at this point. And let's say product delivery process, one of their process, right? They deployed 2 full-time headcounts to handle leads and the product delivery. They are also selling digital courses, digital content. And this kind of automation workflows are created, which involve multiple platforms. So be it Zoho CRM is there, Zoho Begin. We have Google Sheet modules available over here. Then Microsoft Teams is there. In case we have some sort of Outlook is also there, Google Drive involved, many different kind of things. Facebook conversion API, different kind of HTTP calls to send messages, WhatsApp using Interact, which is one of the WhatsApp API provider. So these kind of things are done. And this used to take their 2 full-time employees. They both were taken off to some other process, and that much cost, that much time saved. Currently, this flow works fully automated. They just change certain status or certain things inside their CRM, and the whole product delivery happens like this. Same way, if you wanted to go with more complex AI things or maybe some sort of, let's say, lead allocation, I'll just show you one of the example over here. Let's say this was some sort of sales stuff which they were doing. So this kind of automations are quite common. So once you are like taking a level up within the automation space, within the AI space, you can even automate whole process, end-to-end everything. And that is the power. So maybe I think today's session would have been a good starter exposure for you. If you agree, just give me some feedback, some comment, how you find it, and what's your plan for the remaining 2025.
Thank you so much, Manish. That was brilliant. Folks on the chat, how do you feel right now? You know, Vaibhav kind of touched upon the same concept of automations and agentic workflows when he was talking about, the future, and he was talking about how 2025 is going to look like. Manish just gave us a glimpse of how all of these automations really work. Of course, it requires practice. Of course, you need to go deeper into all of these tools and try to build them all by yourself to be able to leverage it. But through this mastermind and through this session, we wanted to expose you to what is really possible. And this is what it is, right?
Thank you, guys. So much love, so much great feedback. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Manish, I am just going to be pulling up our gratitude channel. I can already see messages coming in on this, but I want you to see this as well. I think what you're doing with us, while I thank you immensely for doing this for the Growth School community, I think in this era, it is absolutely important for everyone to learn AI. And you have been doing that through and through so patiently with us. Thank you so much, Manish.
Thanks a lot. And I see almost 99% of people are still in the session. So that shows their dedication, their commitment towards learning.
Exactly.
So hats off to you guys. Amazing.
Exactly. And folks, you all have to pat yourself on the back as well for sticking throughout all of the sessions and truly grasping everything that has been taught to all of you. Awesome. Loving the messages. And now, as we are coming to the end of the mastermind, we have a few announcements and bonus announcements that we will be making very, very soon. But there is one thing that I would like to, say about the Make.com session that you have attended as well. While we covered 2 scenarios or 2 use cases, one is email automation and the second one is social media automation, you also saw the kind of automations that Manish and their team kind of do for other companies, right? And the relevance of this technology is there in any domain that we would want to pick, be it data, be it tech, be it business, be it finance, be it stock market, be it marketing, be it product, anything it is. All that you have to do is to be able to learn all of this, try it on your own. And once you try it on your own, you will then be able to come up with use cases in your own work. And that is how you would be going about it. Now, we learned automations. The next step to this is agentic workflows. which is not, of course, something that we are able to cover in the mastermind. But we truly hope that with all of the knowledge that you have gained in this mastermind, you will not leave this here. You will continue learning, continue upskilling, continue practicing. Because as Vaibhav mentioned, while our vision is to help 1,000 people become AI generalists in 2025, through that process, we also want to touch 1 million lives in terms of helping them get exposed to the possibilities of AI. Awesome. Now that we are at the fag end of the mastermind and done with the last session of the mastermind, I will now get to a few announcements. But before I make the announcements, I want all of you to drop in one word for how you feel about this mastermind that happened in the last 2 days. I will get to the announcements, but I want all of you to think of one word and drop that one word that comes to your mind about this mastermind that you have attended. Life-changing, grateful, eye-opener, mind-boggling, amazing. Okay, keep that energy coming in. I so wish I could see your faces right now, but because of the Zoom setting, I'm not able to see all of your beautiful smiles, but I know that you're sitting on the other side with a very, very broad and big smile. You might be tired, but I'm sure you're still smiling, and I'm sure you're feeling accomplished at this point of time. I would want all of you to continue showing your energy on the chat box as I make these announcements that I have for all of you. All right, Om, shall we get started with the announcements that we have?
Yes, looks like right on time. Let's do that.
Awesome. Right after these announcements, we will jump into our breakout activity, and we would, which will be happening on a different Zoom account. And that is where we will also be able to talk to all of you. But what are these announcements that we have for all of you? Starting with Make.com credits, which was already announced by Manish. He was kind enough to give all of us 10,000 credits or 10,000 operations on Make.com, which will be available for 1 month. This is for you to get started with Make.com so that you don't have to pay for the platform before you actually use it. And the details of how you can grab this will also be shared with you on email and on the Slack channel. There was a link that was shared earlier, and some of you kind of mentioned that you did not get the credits, but we are checking that on the back end and it should work for everybody. The credits will expire in probably a month, and that is what I meant, right? This mastermind is not only about learning. We want you to implement, and we are going to be giving you everything to support you in that implementation journey as well. But implementing it, or truly implementing it and doing it, still lies in your hands. We can't obviously come to your house or come to your office and make you do that. So we are going to help you with a lot of resources, like we have been mentioning since the starting of the mastermind. So the second bonus that I'm revealing for everybody is that we knew that the Make.com session would be difficult for people to understand or grasp, but we included it in the mastermind. The reason is we wanted to expose you to what is really possible. But now, for you to be able to make the most of these learnings, you obviously have to practice it. And if I ask you to create an automation right away, you may not be able to, right? And that is the reason why Manish also created tutorials of Make.com, which all of you will be getting. And in these tutorials will be uploaded to the Growth School platform. You will all be receiving the link of Make.com tutorials that have been created by Manish. And since it's going to be in a recorded format, you can watch them n number of times at your own pace, at your own convenience. And as you watch them, you also have credits on Make.com so that you can go ahead and implement or practice on Make.com without paying $1 to the platform. So we are going to be giving you all of these tutorials as well. And this is going to come to you in the next 48 hours. And that is when we would want you to leverage it to the fullest. and practice as much as possible, because that practice is what is going to differentiate you from the rest of the people that you probably know, which could be your friends, which could be your colleagues who are not a part of the mastermind. We will get to the certificates and all of that. It's obviously there. But I've just revealed 2 bonuses. Do you all want to hear the third bonus? Drop in a yes if you want to hear the third bonus. Awesome. Will I get 1,000 yeses before I reveal it?
I'm feeling so bad we can't see their faces. This is the time when
I'm feeling so bad that we can't see people's faces, but I know that you're smiling at the other end, and I would love to see your smile after you join the breakout room session. Awesome. The third bonus. Now, let me tell you this story, right? We kind of mentioned that we will not be able to provide recordings for any of the sessions. Why did I do that? Or why did we announce that we will not be able to provide recordings? It is because we have been running Growth School since the past 3 years. And we know that procrastination is a feeling that every human being naturally has. And when we talk about recordings, people usually do not consume. And that is the reason why we lied to all of you and we told you that we will not be providing the recordings, because we wanted you to spend 2 days and complete it all with us. And now, as I talk about implementation, I hope it is very obvious by now that you will be getting recordings of every session that has happened in this mastermind. You will get all of the recordings, and the reason why we are going to give you all of these recordings is because we want you to go ahead, watch them again and practice. And when you watch them now, the difference is you are not going to be hearing about these concepts for the first time anymore. You have already heard it. You have already listened to a lot of questions and discussions around these topics. And now when you watch them again, it will be revision for you. And once you revise, that is when you will be able to apply it on the tools as well. So every session that has happened in this mastermind, you will be getting the recordings of it, along with additional recordings of Make.com tutorials as well. And all of this is going to come as a package to all of you in the next 48 hours. This is what we wanted to announce to all of you. And yes, people who are asking about the resources, you will be getting all of the resources as well. And what are these resources? You will be getting the workbook links. And as you saw, all of these workbooks are extremely detailed. Someone says, why am I smiling? I wish I could see that. You saw all of the workbooks that we created. Every workbook has step-by-step instructions in it, which are going to help you implement everything that you have learned. You will be getting all of these workbooks. And along with that, every prompt that has been used in these sessions, we are going to include all of that also in the resources that are going to come to you, so that you can go ahead and implement, and there is no barrier to you when it comes to learning and implementing, right? And while you do all of this, the community is going to stay, and we would want you to ask all the questions that you may have on the community platform and all of that as you implement it. Awesome. Will we be getting these resources in the email? You will be getting instructions on how you can access all of these resources on the email. Of course, these are large files. Each session's recording is about 8 GB, 10 GB. So we will be hosting it on our servers, and we will be uploading it to the Growth School dashboard that we have. And you will be receiving the link of this dashboard on email, and you will have these recordings with you on the platform so that you can watch them n number of times at your own convenience. Awesome. Awesome. All right. And now let me move on to the other things that I have in the agenda as well. So all of you can now take a chill pill. You know that you're going to get the recordings. You know what you need to do with the recordings as well. Now, why did we do? Someone was asking, why are you putting in so much effort into doing all of this? The reason is it's of course something that Vaibhav mentioned, which is our true vision is to help 1,000 people in 2025 become AI generalists. Because even if you do not believe it today, and I don't think you should have any reason to not believe that AI generalists are the ones who are going to be taking over the markets in 2025 and 2026 after you attended the mastermind and saw the possibilities of AI. But while we do that, we want people to essentially pick up 4 powers: the power to think AI, the power to build with AI, the power to automate with AI, and the power to network with AI. And that is the reason why we have gone over the mile to deliver this experience for you, because we heard from a lot of our learners that while there is a lot of material on the internet and all of that around AI, when it comes to learning, there is no starting point that people get. There is no curriculum that people get, or there is no structured format that people get. And that is the reason why we also gave the roadmap that you need to follow. Now, after giving so much and after you spending 16 hours with us, if you do not use all of this to implement and learn further, not only us, I don't think anybody will be able to help you. Do you all agree with what I'm saying? Do you all agree with what I'm saying? Now that you have spent 16 hours, now that you have all of the best material that is available, you also have a roadmap that clearly tells you how you need to go about when it comes to becoming an AI generalist. Now, if you don't do it, that is not on anybody, but on you. And when you do that, when you truly become an AI generalist, we would want you to think about Growth School at least once or twice. All right. Okay. When did we get the resources and materials for this today? You will be getting that in the next 24 hours. Awesome. Awesome. Now, during the lunch break, a lot of people mentioned that you were not able to open the Calendly link because the Calendly link that we had shared for the AI Generalist program and for you to be able to book a one-to-one interview, that link the server broke and the link was not opening for a lot of people. So what I'll request is, of course, there are a few more materials that we will be posting on the chat box right now before we actually take all of you into the other Zoom account. So I will turn off the chat box very quickly and I will request Om to put in the Calendly link once again. And there are 2 reasons as to why we are putting the Calendly link once again over here for you to be able to book the one-on-one interview with our team for the AI Generalist Fellowship, right? One is, of course, the link broke, so a lot of people were not able to book it earlier. And secondly, a lot of people also reached out saying you were not able to find the time on Monday or Tuesday because it already got booked before you could even book it. And that is the reason why we opened another day. We opened a Wednesday, which we have never done in any of the previous masterminds. We are doing that today because, as Vaibhav mentioned, we are running an early bird offer right now for the next cohort of the AI Generalist program. And this early bird offer essentially ends next week. And which essentially means that this is the last opportunity that people have to be able to grab that early bird offer of 50% scholarship on the price of the program. That is what will be applicable to everyone who gets selected. But I don't even want you to think about whether or not you will get selected while you book the interview call. I'll give you this perspective as well. You saw the kind of people that you will be talking to inside of these Calendly calls. These are, of course, my colleagues. We have all been working together since the past 3 years, ever since Growth School started. And through this mastermind, you also would have gotten to know that many of the workflows that we have implemented at Growth School, be it, simple things like, the comms that all of you have been receiving for the mastermind, the calls that you have been receiving as reminders, the emails that you are receiving, or all of the other automations or the Jerry executive agent that we have set up, or our marketing funnels, our sales funnels, all of these, we have been able to automate them using AI agents. And when we did that in 2024, that is when we realized that this is truly going to be the future. This is exactly like what happened in the 1990s when internet revolution happened. And that is when we also realized the impact that AI agents truly have on companies. Because as our revenue grew, we didn't have to grow our team size. Our team size, in fact, reduced because redundancy reduced, right? And that is how powerful these AI agents are. And they also work 24/7, which is the reason why we were also able to launch Growth School in the international markets. And if you want that to happen for your company, if you want that to happen for the company that you work at, or if you want to have a career that continues to pay you well, because you know how to build AI agents, this could be a step that you could take. And it's not even about whether you get selected for the program or not. Through the conversation, we have spoken to, like I said earlier, we have spoken to around 3,500 people from all across the world. And all of our conversations were very, very focused on what the person does, where do they work, and what are the redundant things around them that can be automated using AI agents, or where are areas in your life that where you can bring up efficiency is what we will be talking about inside of these calls as well. So go ahead, use this last opportunity to block your one-to-one interview with our team. We have a panel of around 8 people. All of them have been in the AI space since the last 2 years, 2.5 years. So all of the conversations are going to be extremely enriching for you and also for us, right? For us, the reason being, we love talking to people. We love thinking about use cases. And I'll tell you something about AI itself, right? While the process of creating agents is something that everyone can learn and everyone will learn eventually in the next 2 to 3 years or 5 years, it is more about the use cases. You need to be able to think AI, where you can implement this technology. Talking to all of you is going to help us also identify new use cases that we may want to implement AI strategies in. And that is something that personally excites me a lot when it comes to these conversations. Outside of Growth School, each one of us are also consultants when it comes to providing solutions to companies, and one-to-one conversations usually charge a lot, right? Because there is obviously a lot of value that is being added to the person that we are talking to and to their company. And that is why these conversations charge, we charge up to $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000 per hour. But since we are doing this for Growth School, this call is absolutely free. And if I were you, I would have certainly gone ahead and taken that step. And the last thing that I would like to mention before I move on to the next one is that 2 years down the line or 3 years down the line, when we are sitting in 2027 or 2028, you will see everybody, literally everybody around you knowing everything about this technology. At that point of time, I personally do not want you to feel that you lost something in 2025, which could have put you way ahead of everybody else in 2027 or 2028. I don't want you to have that regret of looking back and saying, I missed that opportunity when Vaibhav and Funny spoke about it. And that is essentially why I would recommend all of you to go ahead and book the 1v1 call with our team. Awesome. I'm just going to also show you all that Wednesday is open for you to go ahead and block. Give me a second. So this is what the page currently looks like. You have 3 days for you to go ahead and block your slot. You can click on Wednesday, and Wednesday you will find a lot more options to go ahead and book. Of course, there are a few additional slots on Monday and Tuesday as well that you can go ahead and block if these timings work for you. All that you need to do is you need to select the time that works for you, click on next, and fill up the details that we are asking for over here. Your name, email ID, phone number, and which industry do you really belong to, and how many years of experience do you have. Now, we also spoke about women. Women get an additional 10% scholarship if in case you are selected. And when it comes to students, we saw a lot of enthusiasm from students in this particular mastermind. And for that reason, what we have done is we have a super 10 student selection process that we are going to be following, which can open up additional scholarships for you in case you are selected. And what does it take to get selected is the right intent. And if you are able to show that intent to us in that call that we would be having with you, you probably could get selected. So enter the years of experience that you have over here. If you have a LinkedIn profile, which you certainly should, and if you don't have one, you should go ahead and create, my personal advice. But drop in your LinkedIn profile link over here so that our team can check and try and understand who you are before even getting on the call with you. Awesome. Now, I will quickly open up the chat box. I hope all of you have saved the Calendly link. We will not be sharing it again. So if you have not saved it, go ahead and save it right now, or else you will lose this opportunity forever. All right, opening up the chat box. I want all the founders on this call to drop in a yes on the chat box. Okay. Now, how many of you people, I'm specifically talking to founders at this point of time, how many of you truly think that a training like this, like a training like the one that you have attended over the weekend, is something that your team also should go through? Drop in the word me on the chat box if you feel that a training like this is something that will truly help your team. And if it helps your team, it obviously helps your company, and that helps you as well. I see a lot of me's coming in on the chat box. Now, apart from someone says they can't afford, affordability is not the first thing that you need to be thinking about at all, right? You should be thinking about whether or not you will get through the call and whether or not you would get to be a part of the 150 people cohort that we are building. And the remaining things will always be taken care of, because like we mentioned, our vision is truly to, help the first 1,000 AI generalists that our country is going to produce. Not only our country, beyond of that as well, because we have gone beyond India also. So affordability is something that should be out of your mind at this point of time. But for all of the founders who have said me, I've shared a form link on the chat box. You could save this form, because apart from teaching individuals, we also conduct extensive trainings for companies. And we could be doing that at your company, either online or offline. If you're based in India, we could be doing that for your team based on certain use cases that you would want our mentors to kind of focus on when it comes to training your company. So go ahead, fill that form that has been dropped in on the chat box. You may not want to fill it right now also. You can save the form, fill it, and our team will get in touch with you to kind of help you understand what we can do with your company as well. Okay. I have the last thing to mention now, which is also extremely exciting for all the, I see that a few people dropped off by now, but for all the 970 odd people that we have on the call at this point of time, if you loved this entire experience, would you like to share it with people? Drop in a yes if you would like to talk about this, or if you can think of at least one friend or one family member of yours who would also gain from this entire experience. Drop in a yes if you feel that you have someone like that in your mind. I see a lot of people saying yeses. Let's do a barter. Let's do a barter, right? Here's the thing. Tomorrow, an email is going to hit your inbox. In the email, you will have a referral link, right? And each one of you is going to get a unique referral link. Now, the people that register with your referral code, the number of people, every registration that you are able to bring in into the ecosystem, you get 2,500 rupees for every registration that you bring in. And there is a discount that your friend also will be getting. Now, all of these instructions will come to you in the form of an email tomorrow. So you just have to read that email very clearly. But this is an opportunity that you can leverage. We would want you to leverage this opportunity for two reasons, right? One is You might think that, hey, Funny is doing a lot of marketing, smart marketing at this point of time. Yes, I am. And I'm bluntly saying that because we have provided you a ton of value over the last 16 hours. But we want to reach as many people as possible because it's very, very important for everyone to upskill at this point of time. And for us to be able to do that, we would need your help. And if you are helping us, we would want to give back to you in the form of money, right? So these instructions will be shared with you over email. These instructions will be shared with you over email, right? And then, yeah, you could share it on social media and all of that as well. But I think with that, I am pretty much done with all of the announcements that I wanted to make. There's one last thing, of course. I think Vaibhav also mentioned that it's very, very important for everyone to participate in the breakout rooms. So what we will have to do is, since this particular Zoom setting does not allow for breakout rooms, we will have to pull all of you into a different Zoom session wherein we will get to do the breakout room activity as well. But before that, Om has a graduation post activity that he would want to drive. So Om, would you want to share instructions about that and also the breakout rooms that we would be having?
Let's do that in 1 second. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Okay, where am I? Yeah, okay. Got it. Adding a spotlight. Folks, how many of you remember making a post on onboarding call and also in the last 2 days about I'm going to join this mastermind for 16 hours and doing that? What did we say? What did we commit? We committed that I am going to be present, I am going to be active and attending the next 16 hours, right? It's time to close the loop. Because once you announce, what happens? Once you start a project, you finish it. When you finish it, you drop an update. What happens? So we are going to basically do that. We're basically going to officially conclude for all that you have done, right? And how we are going to do that is again by using the same thing, right? So in just about a second, I'm going to share a link in the chat, which we will use, and I'll also show you exactly how to do that. For everybody who has not done, you can still do that. I'll show you how to get there. I'm just setting up my screen before we get there.
Karthik is asking multiple times about the fee of the AI Generalist program. Karthik, it's priced at 3 lakh rupees, but as early bird, for everyone who gets selected in this round of selections, gets a flat 50% scholarship. And in case you are a student and you get selected in the top 10 students that we will be ranking, then of course you get additional scholarships. And women, of course, have an additional 10% scholarship. So 50% applies for all of the people who get selected at this point of time.
Got it. Perfect. So let's do this. What I'm going to do is I'm sharing the link in the chat. We'll pause the chat, folks, for roughly one more minute. Graduation post link. Okay, so what we are going to do is I'll quickly share my screen now. Yeah. When you come to the page, this is exactly a similar page that you saw, right? But this is a new link. This is not the old link, right? So click on the link which is there on the chat box. You will come to this page. What you have to do, I think most of you already know, you write your name. So first of all, you write your role. If you are a student, write you are a student, and instead of company name, write your education or institute name or whichever college that you're part of. Company name, let's say I had community at growth school, and also add a profile picture. Now there are two ways to do it. Either you already have a profile picture which is in your desktop, or you can go to your LinkedIn profile, go to your view profile and just click on this and double tap on this. When you double tap, you can save image, and when you will save your image, it will get downloaded. So you can come back here, either drag and drop, which I will do right now, or you can choose file and do that, and just click on generate a LinkedIn post. This is exactly the custom GPT that Vaibhav was talking about, one for onboarding you and one for getting you offboarded. So exactly what happens here, 60, wow, it basically creates everything. Wow, 16 hours of intense learning in the generative AI mastermind, and I'm still buzzing with excitement. A huge shout out to Growth School and Vaibhav Sisanti. Here are my top learnings, mastering how to learn LLMs, 5 all workshops that we had. Thank you for the amazing team. Now that session is over, I'm ready to dive in. This is basically what it will get created. Looks like even today the image is not. I think you guys jump on the link before than me. That's why it basically gets stuck. Let's try one more time on incognito if that comes up. Basically, what happens is at the end you should find an option to. Prakash, you should find an option to share on LinkedIn or download the image directly and share it manually. Let me try it one more time here. I'll pick up my image from my desktop since I just downloaded the new image. Okay, found it. Once I've added everything, I'll click on generate, and when it generates, now here the name and everything is same, so it is generating almost a similar post for me. For you also, it will do the same. Once this is done, there will be an image that will be generated here, and this says I successfully finished 16 hours of generative AI mastermind. And there are 3 things that you see: copy to clipboard, download image, or post on LinkedIn. What you can do is directly, if you want to post it on LinkedIn, you can click on post on LinkedIn, and you will be asked to enter your email ID and password. Okay, and once you sign in, this post will directly get done on LinkedIn, right? If you don't, and it says view the post. So what I'll do is I'll go and come here and view the post. This is exactly what my post looks like. And once you are done with that, take this link, copy the link to post. And what do? We come to here. Where am I? We basically come here, we come to the pledge channel and put down the link again. So that once again, all of us can get to each other's post, congratulate them, thank them, and wish them good luck since they've already done it, right? And also, in case if you don't want to do it directly, what you can also do is download the image. The image will get downloaded. You see it's coming, and then copy to clipboard. So the whole post comes to clipboard directly. Then you come on LinkedIn or wherever you want to post on the home page. So first of all, I'll just drag the image here. So image has come, and I'll just paste it here. So I can make a manual post also when I directly post, right? So that's basically what we do, and that's how this works. If you are, I'm not opening up the chat right now. We'll keep it on for 10 more seconds. You can take the latest link which is there in the chat, which is shared by me. Take that, do it. Meanwhile, I'll keep the pledge channel of Slack open so that all of us can see for some time. While you do that, we are setting up the breakout activity Zoom session separately. So just hang around for 1 more minute while we get there. This is exactly what we'll follow. Once we are done with all the posts, we'll share you a Zoom link. We'll do all the sessions, all the activities that we had to do today. One activity that we did after the web of session, building a custom GPT for all of you who are not able to do that. And second, we'll talk about make.com activity also, right? Whatever we studied with Manish, we are going to implement that, right? So let's do that. Roughly, we are at 7:11. For next 1 minute, we'll keep this open. For all of you who are not able to text on Slack, what I would do right now is now open the chat box. 1 second. Funny, can you open the chat for me? Perfect. Okay.
That is open.
Perfect. Folks, what student should type enroll?
You can mention that you're a student.
Puts you are a student, yes. You can make it a little funny. You can say you are a good student. You can say you are a whatever, futuristic, whatever. Add some there. Don't post.
I've also dropped in Manish's LinkedIn account. I'll drop that in again.
Yeah, got it.
Since someone was asking me for it. Yeah.
So folks, you don't have to copy the content here. Post it somewhere and add the link so it becomes easy for everyone to access. And once you see a lot of links coming in, go to these profiles. First of all, drop in a good comment. 1 second. I think my full screen was not shared. Yeah. So once you see this post coming up, click on the links. For example, let's say I'll click on this one link. And also comment and like them. And just say kudos or congratulations. Share some good words. They were all your peers and they were all there with us, right? Congratulations on finishing the due date. Mastermind. And what will also happen is all the posts that you guys are making, all the posts that you guys are making, all of us, Funny, me, team members, Weber, and all of us will comment on all the links that you share, so that you are positioned in the right in front of right people who are almost all in terms of AI. You would already see, in past post, if you have anyways done it, you will see comment of me, Uttam, and Funny coming up, and Weber also doing a lot of it. So just keep on sharing your links, and we'll quickly jump off. Interesting. I see the chat is also on now. The chat is also on. If you're not on Slack, you can just quickly keep on putting out in the chat. If you don't have a LinkedIn, that's completely fine. You can choose to post on Facebook or any other social media that you have. If you don't want to do it, that's completely fine as well. If you're not being able to post on LinkedIn directly, by that button, where did it go? By that button, what you can basically do is copy to clipboard and copy to clipboard and do it manually like I just did, right? Please share a link to do this. Let me share the link once again. Okay. Got it. We are at 7:40. I'll turn off my screen share right now. I'll give you guys the link to do this one more time, and we'll jump off to the breakout rooms then. Very interesting, very interesting. Okay, turning off the chat for 1 minute. Next 1 minute. Graduation post.
Deepak, I saw your question coming in multiple times. We shared a roadmap, and that is the roadmap that we will be covering in the 6-month period. This is the roadmap that we will be sending you after this whole session ends. The roadmap will be sent to everybody, and that is the exact roadmap that we will be teaching in 6 months, just to give you the idea. And all of this cohort starts in March, right? So from March, 6 months until then is when we would be running the entire cohort.
Yeah. Okay, I think let's get to the new breakout. We are at 7:15. What we'll do is we'll share we'll share all the links once again. What we'll do is we'll share all the links once again once the session is done today, for all of you guys, in case if you can't see the image or anything. And we'll also share the links in next 2 days, which is Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday, when you will get all the recordings, all the resources, and everything that we said. As Funny mentioned, all these recordings are roughly about 10 GB, 8 to 10 GB. It takes time for us to edit. And there are roughly about 16 hours of recording. So there will be 3 people sitting out editing and making sure everything is fine. It will take us 2 days to process. So we will get that. Certificate also will come by 48 hours, which is on Tuesday. Okay. Till the time, make sure you don't bug us on Slack. We know that we are processing in the backend everything. If you don't get it, definitely we are there to help. We'll also now let me do what I will add. I will share the link of another Zoom session for breakout activity. And my colleague will meet you there for next 5 minutes while we jump off, right? How many of you are joining the breakout activity? This is the last session of the day that will come up. Breakout activity will spend roughly about 25 odd minutes doing everything that we have learned for the next 2 days, and particularly what we have done today. And I urge every one of you to join us, right? And at the last part, we'll also spend some time actually feeling good a little about ourselves and talking to a lot of people that we missed. We actually miss a lot of you, seeing your reactions, which we definitely wanted to do. Yesterday it pumped us up anyways. Okay, turning the chat off and sending the Zoom link again for breakout activity now. Okay, Zoom link. Join us here for breakout.
And breakouts will go on till 8 p.m. Another 40-45 minutes, and then we will wrap up.
Got it. I've shared the link in the chat. Quickly, what you can do is click on, leave this link, click on that link, join another room, leave this call, and we'll know that you're here. You're basically joined in. Perfect. Let's do that. All right. I think 100 people already moved off. Interesting. 760 and a few more people coming up. And for all of you leaving us, without telling us how happy you are, make sure you make a post on gratitude at least. Let us know how the last 2 days were. And if you are making a graduation post, you have Funny and Minds post and LinkedIn profile as well. And thank you so much. Please tag us also if you are doing that, so that we'll come to know. Regardless of that, we'll find you and comment and congratulate you on doing that. It was a lovely 2 days of session along with us. You also spent roughly about 17-18 hours with us, which is commendable. And we can't see. We hope that all of you are happy. I can imagine the smiles in my head right now. I'll see if you join the breakout rooms anyways. If not, send us a picture of yours on a gratitude channel, whatever. Express gratitude, express fun, express happiness, however you do. That's why we have created this community. If you're not on community, once the breakout rooms are over, I'm personally going to send you a 4-minute tutorial. I know I said this on onboarding call also. Don't worry. Very sorry for that. I'm going to send you a 4-minute tutorial on how exactly you can come onboarded to Slack. And once you join in, you'll be able to participate and learn with everyone. And for all the 400 people who are still here, go to the breakout room activity, because one more thing already, this is not the people that you're only going to meet first time or second time. The community that we have created, roughly about 1,000 people that you see, is going to stay from tomorrow also. Nobody is going to kick you out. The community is not going to be shut off. We are going to do offline meetups. We're going to do online sessions. We are going to keep on learning AI with multiple sessions, right? We do a lot of community-based activities, jamming sessions, a lot of brainstorming, helping each other actually build AI solutions. So sky is the limit if you want to have the best leverage. Okay.
I'll drop off from here and I'll join that.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Perfect.
Interesting. The breakout session link is in the chat. What I'll do is I'll turn the chat to host and panelists so that I can see your message. But for you, the latest message becomes the link. If you are dropping off, thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you. It was lovely interacting with you. Please accept all waiting outside. Yes, there's a team who will keep on accepting you. Don't worry about that. Slack is coming. LinkedIn is coming. Lost the link. Please confirm how to join Slack. I'll send you a video along with a link post the breakout activities done so that you can join in very smoothly. Let me share the breakout link once again for a few people who are asking. Yeah, got it. Interesting. LinkedIn link reshare. Join the breakout here. Here are the breakout rooms available for people asking LinkedIn post generator or the graduation post generator. Sharing it one more time. You can see the graduation post link as well. With that, I'm here for next 2 minutes. 7:24 is when we'll end this meeting. What we encourage you to do is go to the breakout room. We would it will be really great for us to talk to you as well and see you how happy you are. If you are, if you're not, definitely we can speak and actually help you out as well there. 279 people. 279 people. Let's see. Interesting. Let's get there. Interesting. Let them know. I want to join Growth School. Do we get, folks? You get certifications. As we said multiple times. If you have attended the session till 70-80%, you will get all the resources. You will get all the recordings and sessions. Some people were asking about the LinkedIn links. Let me give you mine and Funny's LinkedIn link quickly.